Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, while Jon Rahm is one of four joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. We'll start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League, as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. Well, it was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea, as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams, as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by 1-0. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Kartal meanwhile retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Alina Raducanu in her Indian Wells last 16 match. Golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game-time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, while Jon Rahm is one of four joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. Will start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League, as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. Well, it was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea, as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams, as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by 1-0. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Cartal, meanwhile, retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Elena Rybakina in her Indian Wells last 16 match. In golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game-time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, while Jon Rahm is one of 4 joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. Will start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League, as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. It was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea, as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game, Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams, as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by 1-0. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Cartal, meanwhile, retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Elena Rybakina in her Indian Wells last 16 match. In golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game-time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, Well, John Rahm is one of 4 joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. We'll start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League, as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. Well, it was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea, as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams, as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by 1-0. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Kartal, meanwhile, retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Alina Raducanu in her Indian Wells last 16 match. In golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game-time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury. Well, John Rahm is one of 4 joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. Will start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League, as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. Well, it was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea, as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams, as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by 1-0. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Cartal, meanwhile, retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Elena Rybakina in her Indian Wells last 16 match. In golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game-time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, while Jon Rahm is one of 4 joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first-round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. Will start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League, as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. It was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea, as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game, Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams, as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by 1-0. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Cartal, meanwhile, retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Elena Rybakina in her Indian Wells last 16 match. In golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game-time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, while Jon Rahm is one of 4 joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first-round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. We'll start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. Well, it was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by 1-0. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Kartal meanwhile retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Alina Raducanu in her Indian Wells last 16 match. In golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, while Jon Rahm is one of 4 joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. Will start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. Well, it was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by a goal to nil. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United. Oxford recorded a big win at the bottom of the table as they beat fellow strugglers Blackburn 1-0. West Brom and Southampton drew 1-1. In League One, Wimbledon beat Blackpool 4-1 and Port Vale lost 2-0 at home to Bradford City. Thursday night's football action centres on the Europa League and the Conference League in Europe. It's the last 16. Aston Villa go to Lille for their first leg, while Nottingham Forest host Midtjylland. In the Conference League, Crystal Palace are at home to AEK Larnaca. Moving on to tennis, and Jack Draper is into the Indian Wells quarter-finals after a superb 4-6, 6-4, 7-6 win over Novak Djokovic, while Cameron Norrie will face Carlos Alcaraz in the quarter-finals after he beat Rinky Hijikata in straight sets. Sonny Kartal, meanwhile, retired when 6-4, 4-3 behind to Alina Raducanu in her Indian Wells last 16 match. In golf, Rory McIlroy says that he will make a game-time decision on whether he's able to tee off at the Players' Championship. McIlroy has been struggling with a back injury, while Jon Rahm is one of 4 joint leaders on 4 under par after the first round, after firing a first-round 67 at the Live Golf Singapore tournament. In Rugby League, Leeds Rhinos' Maiko Sivo has been named as the Betfred Super League Player of the Month for February. Well, finally, it's the third day of the Cheltenham Festival on Thursday. Another fantastic day's racing in store. The Rhino Chase goes off at 4 o'clock. Before that, it's also the Paddy Power Stayers Hurdle. That's all for now. We'll have more later. Latest sports news on Thursday. I'm Aidan Perkins. Will start with football. It was another disappointing night for the Premier League teams in the Champions League, as Manchester City suffered a heavy defeat in the first leg of their last 16 tie against Real Madrid. They lost 3-0. It was a hat-trick from Federico Valverde that gave Real the advantage. It was also a very disappointing night for Chelsea, as they were beaten 5-2 by defending champions Paris Saint-Germain in France. So both Chelsea and City have to try and recover a 3-goal deficit in the second leg. Arsenal were held to a 1-1 draw by Bayer Leverkusen, while in the other game, Bodo Glimt continued their impressive and surprising form in the competition this season by beating Sporting 3-0 at home. It follows on from a disappointing night on Tuesday as well for the Premier League teams, as Liverpool lost 1-0 to Galatasaray and Spurs were hammered 5-2 by Atletico Madrid, while Newcastle could only manage a draw against Barcelona. Also on Wednesday night in the Championship, there was another win for Coventry City, the leaders, as they beat Preston by 3-0. They're now 8 points clear at the top of the Championship. But Middlesbrough suffered a disappointing 1-0 home defeat to Charlton, as their pursuit of a place in the Premier League was hit by the defeat. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham beat QPR by a goal to nil. Norwich were 2-1 winners over Sheffield United.
Aggregates in the end, an impressive result for Lille. They do make a number of changes following a 1-1 draw against Lorient at the weekend. Out go Ngoy, Bualde and Fernandez, and Bemba, Mukai and Giroud come into the 11 for Lille this evening. Whereas for Villa, they didn't play at the weekend. In England it was the FA Cup weekend, so they make 4 changes from an unfortunate 4-1 defeat to Chelsea last midweek. Cash, Mings, Martson and Bailey drop out. Bogard, Torres, Digne and Sancho come into the lineup for Emre's Villains. For Lille, it's Berk Ozer in goal. A back four of Thiago Santos, Chancel and Bemba, Asai Mandi and Romain Parade, with midfield three of Ngael and And it's a warm welcome to this evening's independent off-tube studio commentary for the action from the round of 16, one of the early kickoffs from France, as Lille host Aston Villa. Of course, Aston Villa here really on the merit of their second placing in the league phase of the Europa League. They were fantastic, Unai Emery's side, only Lyon bettering them. 7 wins out of the 8 games they played, finishing second, as I say. Lille, the host, well, they had to go the hard route into the playoff and knockout stage stage round. A lot of words in these knockout stages, if you will. Beating Crevena Zvezda. They lost 1-0 in the home leg, I should say, but they won 2-0 after extra time in the second leg. So they're here this evening on the French side. Ball over the top, looking for the run of Thiago Santos on the right hand side. Louise loses it on the edge of the area. Giroud looks to pick it up out to our experienced skipper Benjamin Andre on the left hand side into Pirard, back to the skipper Benjamin Andre. I'll bring you the lineups in just a moment. Both sides with a good amount of changes. Lille with 3. They played at the weekend in a 1-1 draw against Lorient, whereas Aston Villa, well, it was the FA Cup weekend, of course, in England, so they've had a bit of a rest. Last time they played, there was that unfortunate 4-1 loss to Chelsea. They've made 4 changes to the lineup of Unai Emery and Gomez. Myself, Lewis Rafter, joined by Josh Mike, can take you through all the action this evening. And Josh, it's a big one this evening. These sides met just 2 years ago in the quarterfinals of the Conference League. Maybe a bit of revenge on Aston Villa's man, I'm not too sure, but I know Unai Emery last losing against Chelsea 4-1, he'll want a better response from his side.
Yeah, he certainly will. It was a poor night for them against Chelsea. I covered that game as well. They were well below par in that one, easily beaten by the better side, despite scoring an early goal as well. Just always felt like Chelsea were on top in that game. A different sort of match for them tonight. They're, of course, a away match in Europe. They've never actually won an away match in France as well, in a European game at least, for Aston Villa. They've done it in friendlies and stuff like that, but a competitive match in France, they're still yet to win in 6 attempts, which is quite bizarre to think about, really, the history that Villa have got in Europe. Of course, European Cup winners back in 1980, so it's in 1982 even, so it's even got that bit of impetus on it. There's history between these two sides as well. You were just mentioning, faced each other in the Conference League back in 2024, penalty shootout. Villa came out on top. I seem to remember Emi Martinez getting some absolute pelters from those Lille fans in the stadium. He's starting tonight as well for Villa, so that's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out. Lille have started fairly decently in this one, only 2.5 minutes in, of course, but some good possession for them. Doesn't result in any sort of chance, and still plenty of time to come in this game.
Yeah, 100%. Even when we finish here, we're only half time. We're over the way through of the tie, of course, aren't we? So both sides will know, as you just said rightfully so, there's a lot of time. You can make maybe mistakes in this one. It's maybe next week where you have to really limit the mistakes if you can help it. I do remember myself and Kieran actually covered that game when Emi Martinez was given a yellow card in the game, and he was given a yellow card in the penalty shootout. Should have been sent off, and that's where a rule change happened, because that was the most confusing game I've maybe ever covered when we saw the yellow card go up. As I said, though, there were changes for Lille as they do have a throw-in on the right-hand side. Ngoy, Biwadi and Fernandes drop out of the 11, and Bemba, Mukai and Giroud come into the starting lineup after that 1-1 draw at the weekend against Lorient. For Villa, Cash, Mings, Martson and Bailey drop out. Bogard, Torres, Digne and on loan Sancho come in after that 4-1 loss to Chelsea. Lineups in full. It's Ozer in goal for the host. The back four of Santos, Mbemba, Mandi and Pirard. With a midfield three of Mackay, Andre and Bentaleb. With a forward three of Perrin, Giroud and Haraldson. As they do have the ball at the back with Ozer, you're not missing anything at the moment. Martinez in goal, back four of Bogard, Konza, Torres and Digne, Onana and Louise as the two holding midfielders, with Sancho, Buendia and Rogers the supporting cast for Ollie Watkins. Referee this evening is Jose Sanchez, the Spanish official. As I said, Josh, Lille, the home side, are on the ball, and again, Villa can very much adapt to the situation. Can't they? Down the left-hand side, they come with Haraldson. Villa, if they can have possession, they will have possession. If they have to sit back and defend, they'll sit back and defend on the counter-attack. Long ball forward to the right-hand side, Andre Eaglin offside position. So I think that's what makes Unai Emery's side so good, and he can pick and choose. Well, unfortunately, they've got a good couple of injuries, but they can choose. If he wants to sit back a little bit, you can do that, can't you? His side are very well versed, so when they're on the ball, they're very confident, but off the ball, they're confident too. They're happy to do whatever. As I say, they adapt to the other side almost.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Unai Emery is all about, isn't he? He's a fantastic in-game manager, one of the best about at the moment. The way that he can just sort of change the game with just one tactical switch, and that's an extra weapon that Villa have got this league. Not only have they got a fantastic squad that's capable of competing at the top end of the Premier League and in Europe as well, they've got the manager to back it up as well, so that's why they won't panic. In a two-leg tie, I think Unai Emery really does come into his own for that as well, because he's able then to really suss out the other team. They're playing against them that much, he knows then the weaknesses, so even if Lille did manage to get a win in this game, a narrow win, a 1-0 or something like that, you'd still probably fancy Villa at Villa Park to be able to turn it around, and Emery just to sort of calm everything down and be like, we're still well in this tie, and he'd be able to just change it. So yeah, whatever it is tonight for Villa, I don't think a narrow loss would be a disaster. Of course, they'll want a positive result to take back to Birmingham, but yeah, still plenty of time left in the ties, so they can't panic no matter what happens.
He's spot on there, just over 5.5 minutes played, and we are currently at a walking pace. Emi Martinez is just outside his area, and this is one of them where everyone's being man-marked, so Martinez is looking for a pass. He goes short to Pau Torres in the end, but that was a very awkward one. I always eat sometimes up, but then you do see one player and then go, you know what, let me press the goalkeeper, let me make something happen, let me force them into a mistake. Sometimes Villa can be a little bit overplaying out from the back. It's the modern way. It's how, as you spoke about Emery, that's how he wants his side to play. So I'm sure, for example, if Konza did make a mistake, he would sit there and go, I want him to do that again. So that's how the manager wants them to play. Scrappy in midfield. Onana poked it back though to the skipper Ezri Konza. Back to Martinez. It was a very slow pace at the moment. Of course, we're not the only game on this evening, especially on this service as well. All Italian affair in the round of 16 as Bologna host Roma. That should be a good one. That's the other game on the service as an early kick-off. We've also got Panathinaikos, Betis and Stuttgart against Porto in the other kick-offs in the Europa League. We've got a good amount in the Conference League as well. So myself and Josh will try our best to keep you up to date if any goals go in. Strasbourg have taken the lead against Rijeka in their game there. That's the new Chelsea boss, I should say, Liam Rossini, his former side. Gary O'Neill in charge there now. A very exciting side to watch them. Sure, they'll be in the Europa League and Champions League in years to come. And also, maybe what Villa have got to have an eye on as Douglas Luiz has the ball, sprays it from left to right, not enough on it to find Sanchez. I'm not saying do what Manchester United and Spurs did last year and just throw away the league, because they're in a great position. They're off the boil and off a bit of form. It happens to everyone in the season. They might also look at the Europa League and go, well, you know what, we want to do our best in the Premier League, but if we don't make the Champions League, we could win this, win a trophy, which is a bonus, and also get Champions League football. It's another way into the competition.
Yeah, it's just more things to be excited about, isn't it, for Aston Villa? If you do not get into the Champions League, they might just fall short in the end. Villa in the Premier League, you look at the other squads, they're just starting to maybe get ahead of Villa. This team's slightly running out after a few recent results. They're still well within it, of course, but I think you are right. They will look, as they go deeper in this competition, maybe it's prioritising it. If they can get favourable draws as well, of course. It's already been made. I'm not sure who it is that Villa will play in the next round if they do get through. But if it is favourable, there's no reason why they can't look at that and go, yeah, even if the Premier League doesn't work out as much, we've got that, and then Champions League football back at Villa Park.
Yeah, it's one of them. They missed out with that loss to United 2-0 on the last day last season. That big mistake at the back by buying Dia, the big questionable thing that cost them Champions League. So it's almost you say, it's not that where United and Spurs were way out and they were never getting Champions League football when they were in the Europa League, but as you say, it's almost a backup option for Unai Emery to have, and as you've already spoke about, he's fantastic in cup competition, so you won't put it past him, even finishing in the top four and even winning the Europa League. Just over 8.5 minutes in here, it's still goalless. Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. Basically, it's been possession at one end for one side and one end for the other. We've had no shots yet. It's very slow, and as you said, it's almost like a boxing match at the moment, isn't it? It's our first round, the first two rounds of there hasn't been anything thrown yet. They're just really trying to suss it and feel each other out at the moment. Yeah,
a really slow start to this tie. Almost a chance there actually as Haraldson tries to bring it down. Rodgers might get away for Villa, but just looking at the team, I thought that Buendia might be playing as a striker at first. It now looks like it's Rodgers alongside Watkins in the front two. I don't know what Tammy Abraham has to do really to get a start in this team. I mean, he's a natural striker. You'd think he would be preferred. He's been decent as well since he signed. He's got a couple of important goals. That one against Leeds as well springs to mind, so it's a little bit puzzling to see him on the bench. I think he'd link up nicely with Watkins, who does need to get a goal back on the board. He's had a tough run of form. We're coming into a World Cup tournament as well in the next few months, and that second spot for England is not been nailed down at all. It's so open for who can get it. There's talking of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Danny Welbeck, of course, at Brighton's having a decent season, so he needs to get back on some scoring form. Meanwhile, now just approaching 10 minutes of break in play for the players to break their fast.
Yeah, so we're just having a break of play, so you're not missing anything here, as Josh just said, just over 10 minutes. But you are right, again, it's however you like to look at it, 4-4-2, 4-2-2 almost, isn't it? But it is Rodgers more centrally with Watkins, Sancho. It's more of, isn't it? Sancho is going to be a wide on the right, and it's going to be almost even Rodgers and Buendia quite central. Watkins in line and Dini will be given quite a lot of licence, wanted to drive forward on the left hand side. But you are right, if you're going to go with a more traditional two up top, I don't know why you wouldn't at least try it. Maybe Unai Emery is coming off a 4-1 loss and he goes, you know what, I don't want to try that just yet. I know what I've got. Maybe that's his case, I'm not too sure, but It's one of them, isn't it? It's such a big opportunity that maybe he goes, right, the league game we've got at the weekend, that's a chance maybe to do it. But I think you are right, Tammy Abraham is really impressive, and to say that he's not had a lot of minutes this season, he's not had a lot of minutes at Aston Villa, when he has played, as you say, he's looked quite impressive.
Yeah, he has. I mean, I was quite surprised to see them re-sign him, to be honest. I've not really kept much of an eye on him in his time in Italy. I didn't think he pulled up many trees there, so it was surprising to see him come back to Villa Park, and he's chipped in with a few important goals. If it comes to the end of the season and Villa have managed to get themselves into those Champions League places, or maybe it pops up with one in the Europa League that helps them go through into a next round, or maybe even wins the tournament, they'll look at it as a great piece of business. So yeah, surprising signing, but it seems to be working out nicely so far.
He seems to like the players coming back, doesn't he? This time last year, when Dia was on loan at Bayer Leverkusen, he's come back in the starting 11. As you say, Leon Bailey not in the starting 11, but he was out on loan at Roma earlier this season. He's come back, and Emery quite clearly sat there like, well, I've got these broken toys that have been sent out on loan, I'll bring them back and I'll make something of them. We are back under play now and again, still each side trying to suss each other out. Bentaleb on the ball with Benjamin Andre, very experienced, a lot of experienced players this evening, has to be said, for Lille. I'm sure a lot of it listeners might name Chancellor Mbemba, the former Newcastle man. Benjamin Andre, in his mid-30s now, the French midfielder Bentaleb, I'm sure he's former Newcastle, as well as Giroud, of course, a massive name over the last 10-15 years in European football, whether it's for Chelsea, Arsenal, Montpellier, AC Milan, you name it. Really, even spent a stint, of course, in the MLS, but now he's leading the line. And I covered their second leg against Red Star Belgrade, Crevena Zvezda, however you do like to pronounce it. And because to me Giroud, as it's a throw on the right side for Aston Villa, he never had pace. He wasn't this pacey forward that he loses pace. He always was a very physical forward who just got in the right places, right time, held it up really well. A great striker, great intelligent footballer. Yes, I think he's 39 or even maybe in 40 now, but because he never had pace, it was never something he could really lose. I'll bring Josh in a moment to ask about the French forward, but here come Villa. That's a poor pass. That's the first time they've won the ball out of the field. Coming forward, they should be doing better there.
They really should be. I mean, that's again, they're just poor from Ollie Watkins, isn't it? Who I've already said needs to have a big evening really for Villa. He needs it thick and fast really with the games that he's got coming up, and it's just a waste. It's a good chance there. Lille have been a little bit careless playing out from the back, and Villa are straight onto it. You're thinking the players they've got in that position, Lille scrambling to get defenders back as well. They make the most of it. At least get a shot on target, and Testoza for the first time, he's not even had a touch of the ball yet really. So a disappointing one from Watkins. But going back to what you said about Giroud as well, it is just really commendable, isn't it? As you're right, I think the fact that he had no pace mainly throughout the rest of his career has probably helped him. It was never his strong suit, so when it got to this age, it's not like he had a massive drop off with his pace or anything like that. He's still got a great footballing mind about him, looks after himself really well too. So yeah, great to see him still playing at the top level. That's a fantastic record against Aston Villa, by the way. Scored in each of his last 8 against Villa. It's a run that stretched from 2013 to 2020, so he's really been able to keep it up against the villains. They'll be dreading playing against him. Yeah,
I can imagine maybe he saw the draw cup and he went, oh, I'll take playing Aston Villa. As you say, I've got quite a good record against them. But from that throw-in, they still have the ball high on the right-hand side to Lille. To Benjamin Andre in the middle. Him and Bentaleb, they've had the most touches by far in this game. Bentaleb, ball over the top to the right-hand side. Piran with a first-time pass, but it's intercepted well by Douglas Luiz. Fizzed into the feet of Rodgers by Digne. Sancho on the right side. Bogard again playing as a right back, but he won't be, I can assume, playing very similar to what Matty Cash would normally do. Probably more of that midfielder playing at right back that we've seen a lot of times. Lewis Miley at Newcastle for example. Probably add another body in midfield when they have the ball more than anything. He's on the ball though, into Sancho. Back to Bogard. Now it's time for Villa to have a bit of patience and probing possession. High on the right hand side with Onana. Looking for options is the Belgian. Twists and turns, Sancho, he's looked very good in the last few times I've seen him in Aston Villa shirt. Never really picked up form at Chelsea. He's had a dreadful time at Old Trafford, really. He's had a contract in the summer as well, so United do have a 1-year option to renew, but I can imagine they might just accept the losses and go, right, we'll say 350k a week in the bank if you do go. We'll ball forward, it's held up by Watkins, but intercepted in the end by Bentaleb, and he's on the ball, but he's been pressed down by Watkins, but good calm play from the former Newcastle man, and Lille have the ball. It's 15 minutes on the clock here. Round of 16 Europa League action. Independent off Tube Studio commentary of Lille against Aston Villa. Currently goalless, and we're still waiting for our real first chance of the game. Don't believe we've even had any shots that have been blocked away or off target. But going back to a Sancho, it's contract year, isn't it, for him? That yes, United do have that option, but I can imagine they might just cut losses. He's playing for a contract next year.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, I think they're probably accepting they're not going to get anywhere near the valuation that they paid for him. Maybe it is just to take him off the wage bill at this point. It's just a signing that's never worked out at all, despite some encouraging signs maybe in the first couple of seasons. Ever since then, it's like his attitude, it's like he doesn't really want to go and be that great player that we all know he can be. We saw it in his time at Dortmund for England as well. He was absolutely sensational for a couple of seasons, was pipped as one of the mainstays in that England team. Again, you would have thought with this being a World Cup year, he might have thought beforehand, you know what, again, wingers aren't the strongest position at the moment for England. I can get myself back into the team, I can go to the World Cup and maybe have a great tournament, and then that could boost my career again. But it seems like it's just been going downhill ever since he joined Man United, despite maybe a little bit of an uptake in times at those loan spells at Dortmund and Chelsea. It's still never really quite found that level again.
No, he didn't. In his last year at Dortmund, 16 goals, 18 assists in all comps. Again, never really got going. A lot of injuries in his first year at United, to be fair. His second year, he played a lot more games, 41 games, a lot of them off the bench, though, not many starting. And then in his third season, well, he's played 3 games for the Red Devils and went on loan, as you said, to Dortmund in the second half. Looked rather impressive back in Germany, got to the Champions League final. They didn't want to take him on a permanent deal, as you said, went to Chelsea. So in and out of the team, I can imagine that would be quite frustrated. He was starting one game on the bench, the other he played a lot of games, but there were probably minutes-wise not as many as you'd like. Never got going at Villa. He's only played, this is his 29th game of the season. Only a goal and an assist so far. He scored his goal against Fenerbahce in the Europa League phase. So opportunity, as you say, again, it could be in a swing at the back end of this year, isn't it? That he could score this evening, could take them through to the next round, and that's an impressive piece of play. Ball forward to Giroud, dealt with by Pau Torres. Too much on that and out for a corner. So a first set piece of the evening, but this is where the game might really up tempo.
Yeah, you would hope so. I mean, it needs something desperately, doesn't it, to just sort of burst into life. There's literally been nothing for either goalkeeper to in this one. It's very, very turgid stuff, as we used to see really from English teams at the moment. I mean, they're not doing too well as well in this game week, are they? They've all had a bit of a pasting. Real Madrid, Tottenham, all had and Chelsea as well, all had batterings in the Champions League. We'll see if it continues in the Europa League this evening with those English teams. But Perry now to take this out swinging corner.
Yeah, perhaps that's why Unai Emery's gone, let's just not concede, lads, because we don't want to suffer the fate of the rest of the English sides. As Josh said, it will be Perry with an outswinger. Good opportunity, headed down by Mbemba. Took a few deflections and then just hooked away by Sanchez. Jose coming all the way out of his goal onto the halfway line. Villa, I thought the goalkeeper was going to put the ball back in, but Villa have a really high defensive line as usual. Remember that season when they got so many offsides. Ralston picks it up. Again, it's just been a lot of the when either team have had the ball, it's been the 2 centre backs and the 2 defensive midfielders for both sides. So for example, a Ralston for Lille, a Perrin we haven't really mentioned. For Villa, Buendia, haven't mentioned him. Digne, haven't really seen him on the ball. Ralston, one of those players who are getting on the ball now. Out to Santos on the right hand side, ball whipped in, deflected off of Digne, but I believe it came back off the right full back for Lille and out for a goal kick. And it is William right now from an ultra point of view. This isn't very exciting. This isn't what we want. We want to see a good game. We understand maybe the first 15-20 minutes can be a feeling out period, but at the moment I feel both sides are more worried about making a mistake than going and scoring and doing something.
Yeah, they are, and that's the problem sometimes, isn't it, with these first leg matches. Neither side wants to start badly. They just want to feel their way into the game and sort of get onto it. It can be a long one, obviously, if you're not playing well, so they just want to not make any mistakes. They know they've got plenty of time, so they're not going to force things. They're not going to try and create and rush either. But Villa at the moment just not really retaining it that well. Not really making use of the wide players or the creative players that they've got on the pitch. Of course, injuries have sort of ruined them this season. It's not even a creative player, but I will mention, Kamara. It feels like the season nearly ended when he went, but they're into the box now with Rodgers.
Down the right hand side, ball is fizzed in. Does that take a deflection? Or was that just wide from Rodgers? But that's what you want, isn't it? Him getting on the ball. That's where you can see why maybe you do want him more central, because he can work things out there. Nice ball from Sancho, and that first real half attack, half chance for Villa. Yeah,
it's probably the closest either side have come to scoring. I mean, the bar's quite low in terms of that in this game. Opening 20 minutes and we've barely seen a shot. Neither keeper has had to make a save, so that might class as the closest there from Morgan Rodgers. Not really clear if he's trying to actually go for goal or whether he's hoping someone's running towards the far post and he's trying to aim it for them. So Yeah, a little bit of, not a waste for Villa, but a decent opening for them, not taken. They are getting high up the pitch again though now, and a throw in for them to take.
It's long, if you will, up to Watkins, but it's defended poorly, but it's got away, hooked away by the defender and Bemba there. Hooks it long to Haraldson. Now they're going to come forward here on the right hand side. There's a bit of space that Villa have left open with Santos. Can he get a ball into the box? He's going to float one in, headed away by Bogard. Sancho clears it further away. Watkins and Rogers, two centrals, get out to the right hand side, so the attack will continue with Pirard on the left hand side. Haraldson, a few 1-2s between himself and Benjamin Andre. But on his backside there was Onana by Pirard. Andre, Bentaleb, looking for options, looking for where to go. And Bemba, he's far up the field at the moment, almost close to his high and wide. Right back in Santos, who has the ball, cuts inside. Chance for a shot here. Will they go for it? No, they won't. There's too many jerseys in white and purple for Aston Villa. Nodded away by Onana. That's a good one in Bemba, all the way back to his goalkeeper. Lille in this first half going from left to right in the usual red and navy blue jerseys and shorts and socks, whereas Villa in their away strip going from right to left in a white and purple kit this evening. And we spoke about injuries. Kamara, Cash is out with an illness. Tielemans has been a massive miss as well. Someone I think is just coming back, someone like John McGinn could be massive as well. And that's what you can more say, can't you, for Villa? The drop off coincides with a Tielemans and a Kamara and McGinn three-way injury almost, which they would have been 3-0 on starters. Ball forward to Santos. Ball into the box. Thought Martinez was going to come and just nod that. Instead, he comes, waits for it. Digne nods it back for him. Ball in the hands of Martinez. So, if you are Emery, you can almost say, look, yeah, we're off the boil, but 3 of my major players are out injured as well.
Yeah, he needs to be careful though that he doesn't use that as an excuse for Villa going wrong a little bit. I mean, he keeps sort of maybe not trying the same things, but not really changing it too much. And we look at the squad Villa have got. They do have some good variation in this team. I mean, Harvey Elliott's barely been given a look in at all, has he, this season? And Liam Bailey's obviously had to come back from them. They have had that injury crisis, but still it's sort of the same things over and over, and it's not getting stale under him. I still rate Emery massively, as I've already said, but it just feels like we need that spark again, Villa. Obviously, missing Kamara, Tielemans and McGinn is going to hurt you massively. He's got a decent squad there at his disposal. It just feels like he's not been getting the best out of it in recent times.
Yeah, he hasn't. As you say, Douglas Luiz, a former player, comes back, but that's a loan, permanent possible move. As you say, Bailey, player who was on loan, right, we can't sign someone, but we can bring him back. Maybe it's a player he doesn't want, but at the same time, I think we're all used to, as you just said, rightfully so, Unai Emery getting the best out of every player that he has. You see what he does with an Ollie Watkins, for example, or so on and so forth. On the right hand side, Villa have it, thought they were going to come further forward, but they'll go back, forced back by a decent Neil press. Just over halfway through this first half, approaching 24 minutes on the clock. It's independent of Tube Studio commentary on the round of 16 of the Europa League from France. It's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. I'll pass you over to Josh to hopefully take it to its half time and maybe up the tempo in this game, because as you said before, Josh, we do need it. Yeah, boy, it needs it. If there's a game that ever needed a goal, it is this one. As the ball goes forward, could be an opening for Watkins, who gets there ahead of Mbemba. I think he's played it off the Lille defender last as well. A good blow there from Bagard just over the top. Watkins had the wrong side of Mbemba in the end. I'm not actually sure who the final touch comes off of. It must be Watkins, although it looked like he was getting ready for a corner kick. It is a goal kick for Lille. I thought that was the right one, but good to see Villa going a little bit more direct. They're trying something different. Yeah, just trying to stretch them, if anything, as you said. It didn't work out then, but now what you do is a goal kick, which both teams really avid of playing out from the back. As I say that, they do go long to Europe, but that's almost now forcing them. They win the ball and they win it high. Here they come. Yeah, it could be a chance now. Watkins plays it on this left side. Luiz into the box. What's it on his right foot? He just sort of shots the angle for himself there in the end. And Bemba does well to recover it. That was a good opening for Villa. I'll get Lewis's thoughts in a moment. Villa still have the ball with Buendia. It's back now towards Conser, just inside the centre circle. Rogers showing deep, moved over towards the left now for Torres. Again, space for Villa to work with. Digne needs to attack down that left channel. He wants to go the other way though, and Luiz will eventually pick it back up in this attack. It's finally just about filtered out, but that's an opening there for Villa, not taken. They've massed it forward again though. It's Buendia. Digne now. Space for him to get the cross, and it comes in from deep as well from the Frenchman. It's all the way through nearly before Bentaleb gets it cleared. Digne will pick it up again though. Let's go in the early kickoffs in the Europa League, and Porto have taken lead away at Stuttgart. And finally after that
long-winded chance. It does break down. Villa have it at the back, but that felt like a bit of a waste.
It did, but as you said, it's better, isn't it? So what's important now, as you point out, is can maybe Villa continue that? Yes, they've got the ball and the goal back, but the passing just seems a bit quicker, doesn't it? Even Konza into Louisa, it felt like that was quick. 1-2, getting the ball. I think Louise, if you're being really critical, could he have held it up and played Digne? Was flying forward down the left, wasn't they? All he had to do was take an extra touch, kind of turn his body, hold it up and play it into the full-back there. Or could he have maybe found an early cross into the box? But he's doing much better, and they're coming forward again.
Yep, it's now Digne down this left-hand side. This is better now from Villa. Just starting to get on top in this game. Good touch from Buendia, just about gets it through to Sancho. Now Louise, they've got the overload on that right side. It's Bagard who now wants the support. He finds it in the form of Sancho, overstretching but still just about keeps hold of it. Torres, ball in the middle. Rodgers in space. It's not a great touch as he flicks it up in the air. Lille want a handball. They're going to get it from the Spanish referee as well, who's in a good position to see it. But Villa definitely just starting to dominate possession more, and that's a clear handball. Yeah,
clear handball. But you are right, and it's again possession, but not this. When, for example, when Emi Martinez had his studs on the ball, and everyone was looking at each other. Me and you were looking at each other, going, "What's going on here? What's happening here?" We understand there's a feeling out process, but it felt like it was a 20-minute feeling out process, wasn't it? But it's much better, and again, it's sometimes as well is one team's up their energy and up their tempo. The other team almost go, well, we need to respond to that. So hopefully Lille do that. But you're right, Villa looking a bit more lively. The pressing in the right areas a bit more. They're looking more confident with the pressing as well. I think it's a much better way to go about it. And again, maybe Unai said that. Look, the first 20 minutes, let's just not make a mistake. After that, let's try and open up in the rest of this first half.
Yeah, just set the nerves a little bit out there. That's not a great ball from Torres though, and Macau could be onto this one. He's just trying to hold the ball up and wait for reinforcements. He might find it eventually before Louise makes the challenge. No free kick given, and Villa can get away now. Rodgers playing it to Watkins, who could be in now. He's up against his man over on that far side in Mandy. Watkins now up towards the edge of the box, wants it on his right foot, gets it as well. Angles charged down, and in the end he does well, does Mandy, the defender. He wants the support from his teammates. He wants a free kick as well, or something from the referee. He's not going to get it. Again, there the chance for Watkins. He's just trying to get that yard on his man. Can't quite do it, and it's good defending.
A lovely ball from Rodgers as well, wasn't it? As you say, there's only really, I want to say it was Sancho, the only player really supporting him. So I like what he's trying to do, because he's trying to go wide. I think you can see he's going to try and cut it back. It's not a shot, is it? It's just blocked away and it wins a corner for his side. I think he's trying to just get anything he can, was Watkins. But for me, you need to probably look behind you for a second and see, right, I've got one player supporting me. No one else coming forward. I'm just going to drive into the box, take a touch and go for a shot. That would have been better. But look, as we say, he's on inside a corner, and Aston Villa, they've got Onana, they've got Torres, Konza, Watkins is a great header of the ball. Set pieces could be a way through for either side in this game.
Certainly could be. We'll see what Villa can do now with this in-swinging one from Digne. It's towards the near post, it's low, it's away by Mandy. Haroldson will help it on its way as well. Out for a throw-in though, about halfway inside the Lille half. Neither side with a shot on target though so far in this game. Neither keeper has had to do anything of note really. Villa didn't manage a single touch of the ball in the Lille penalty area in the opening 20 minutes. It's that much of a slow one. We're just hoping that the two sides have been saving it. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the Europa League, Porto having a fantastic start in Germany. They're now 2 goals to the good, it seems, against Stuttgart. The only goals in the Europa League so far in the early kickoffs, as I was saying. Onana out for Villa though, looking to change that over the top. Can Watkins get there? Just ahead of him in the end, but the Fortnum Brentford man starting to look a bit more dangerous.
A lot better movement there, as you spoke about earlier as well, that's so close. If that's a little bit better hit for him, or he maybe makes a run a slight earlier, he almost just has to get a touch on it because the keeper's running out, isn't he? That's poor play. Good play by Onana. Here comes Villa again.
Wasteful again from Lille, and this could be a chance now. Rodgers slips it through to Onana, who's in space on the left side. Ball towards the back post. Brilliant defending that is from Mandy again, who denies Watkins. He's waiting at the far post. If that goes through to him and he's onside, he's surely going to score from there. Again, the space is opening up for Villa, but great defending from Mandy.
Spot on. What a ball by Onana. What a piece of defending there. Because as well, you've got to give credit to Mandy. How many times have you seen that happen? That you stretch your leg out to get anything on it, and it goes past your own goalkeeper. That could have gone in the back of his own net. Really good, alert defending. Good. Just ability, just get your leg out but clear it away. Don't take a deflection and fall back to Onana, for example, or fall to Watkins. That's great play, but this is much better than Villa. As you said, it's a low bar, but this is much more what we expected.
Yeah, it definitely is. Digne's getting a few pelters thrown at him by those Lille fans in the far corner. I can see a few objects being thrown onto the pitch. None of them have hit Digne so far. It looks like it's just little paper balls, really, slowly making their way onto the pitch. Digne Finally happy to take this set piece though. Again, the in-swinger towards the near post. Some decent pace. It's headed away though by Perrin. And Sancho will challenge Haraldson. Now Lille can get away themselves maybe. Can they? In fact, no, they can't. It's just too far in front of Perrin. Begard does well just to mop it up. Past the half-hour mark though in the north of France. And it's still goalless between Lille and Aston Villa. But just signs in the last few minutes that Villa is starting to get on top in this one. They're having all of the possession pretty much. Olivier Giroud, very isolated figure up front at the moment. I mean, he's barely been mentioned in this one. No,
I think Haraldson's trying to get close to him. You see off the ball, it's almost a 4-4-2 defensively for Lille. And Haraldson is there, as you say, I think trying to just support him. But when they're on the ball, he's dropping to progress the play. So then he's nowhere near Giroud, is he? This is much better from Aston Villa. Spoke about Digne takes some penalties. I'm sure the linesman as well might have taken a few, might have been that close to the French fullback. Don't know if he has any ties to any other teams that might be the enemies of Lille. I'm not too sure on that, but they might see a Frenchman and they're just not a fan. I'm not too sure. Not too sure why. But the first one was a poor ball in from the set piece. The second one much better. But here Aston Villa look full of confidence now.
Yeah, Rodgers is starting to get involved a lot more. Great ball to the middle. Buendia's trying to let it run behind him in the end. It's just allowed Lille to make the challenge. Villa again though have won the ball back up the pitch. They're winning pretty much every 50-50 at the moment, the Villains, as Louise now comes forward. Good tackle though in the middle there by Andre. Can Haraldson make the most of it? He's on his halfway line looking to play the ball out. Eventually finds Mbembe towards Santos now to the right. This might be Lille's most extended spell of possession really in the last 15-20 minutes. It's just been knocked around at the back at the moment. Now towards Mandit, past the halfway line. Showing deep for it is Perrin, who's over towards the left side as it stands. Giroud will now flick it round the corner. Flag stays down for now. It looked offside, but they're into the box. Ball across goal. Macau with the chance, and it's just past the post. I'm not sure if the offside flag was going to go up there. It does eventually. It looked offside. The ball round the corner, but a good move from Lille, and they come agonisingly close to finding the net.
And it's just Torres who steps up at the last second, really, doesn't it? Him and Digne on a really good wavelength there. But that's a great attack from Lille. And what's good about it as well is, I know Giroud's the only forward, but sometimes when you have that only forward, you need runners from midfield and wide, don't you? And that's great from the midfielder getting in that position. And again, what Lille said, it went wide anyway, but as you said, but it was great play. And again, it's very similar to what Villa have done from their chance. It's taken on going a bit further forward, up in the momentum and tempo. And look, from an ultra point of view, that's what we want to see. We want to see that chance. We want to see it again. And look, I'm sure Lille will also go, right, we've got him behind him once. If not for Torres being alert, he'd have been on side there, and it would have been a chance. I'm sure they'll think, right, we can do that again. And Villa now will be much more wary of that attack as well.
Yeah, certainly will. They'll have just been given a warning sign there. Villa are looking maybe too comfortable almost after starting to dominate. But Lille, even if it would have been ruled out, going the closest to finding the target. Still no shots on target in this one, but it is starting to be a better game ever since you passed over to me, really, Lewis. So unfortunately for you, Torres now though coming forward for Villa. Good passing towards the inside. Rodgers takes a bit of contact. In fact, sorry, it's Buendia who wants a free kick. He's not going to get it. And Bentaleb now surges forward. Macau over to his right. Santos on the overlap. Macau steps inside. Bentaleb on the edge of the area now. Will go for goal as well. Blocked from Torres. Not sure if it was on target anyway. Villa should get this one clear eventually. It's the little man there, Haraldson I think it was, or maybe even Perrin, who was buzzing about. Again, they want the free kick. They're not going to get it. And Onana surging forward now. Great dribbling from the Belgian. He's away down that right hand side. Can Villa hit back at Lille? Rodgers now, he's trying to get round Andrew, who's all over the back of him. Rodgers still goes though up towards the byline, wants reinforcements, gets one in the form now. Begard made the run forward, turns inside, goes down in the box. What is the decision? I'm not sure. Well, it's not a penalty. Same play on there is the Spanish referee. He's happy, isn't he, to let this game go. We'll have to see a replay of it. Villa have won the ball back high up the pitch again. It's Louise now taking charge. Buendia on the left side, wants Digne to make the move up ahead of him. He finds him eventually. He's a little bit further back though. Now Louise. Runs being made for by those Villa players, but the Brazilian can't find them for the time being. Now Concert. This is starting to get slow. Not sure if it was an offside that he was given for the non-penalty decision. As Digne swings the ball in, it's a good cross. Headed away though again by Mandit. Giroud and Haraldson should get this one clear. And a few talking points there.
Yeah, that thing with me from the penalty, as you said, because it's been relentless from Villa since that penalty shout, and we haven't had any stoppage in play. We haven't been able to see a replay. The referee, is he asking for... I thought he was waving for a stoppage there to speak to VAR. I don't think it's a penalty, but what I will say is if it's not a penalty, I don't think the Lille defender gets any of the ball. So would it not have to be then a dive or simulation? That'd be my question, because it didn't look like he got caught. It looks like he went over on his own accord, if I'm quite honest, in Bogard. It was a good sequence of play. He's just been fouled by Perrin. Won't be a yellow card or anything, but hopefully we'll see a replay. We'll see a replay of this foul, but I'll be looking forward to seeing a replay of that, because, as you say, it was a big talking point.
Just seeing it now. I mean, I'm not really just seeing it back. It's not a penalty. I don't think it's a dive though as well from Bogard. It's a weird one, isn't it? Where they both sort of get caught in each other's feet, and that's why VAR hasn't got involved with it. I mean, there wasn't really an appeal anyway. It was from those Villa players in the build-up to it. So it would have felt like a little bit of a harsh one for Lille if the penalty was given. But so some good moments again for Aston Villa. It's still not yielded though in a major chance for them. Watkins has now taken a foul just by the halfway line. He's shown deep for the ball. That's how little he's touched it so far in this game, Ollie Watkins. Villa's main men. Manager now for Lille, coming way off his touchline to just to bark out some instructions. It's Bruno Genesio, the Lille gaffer. Ball now down the line from Douglas Luiz. Can Wendy keep it in? Might just overextend him, but it doesn't in the end. He does get a touch to it, but he can't find Digne just behind him. They might be able to pen Lille in though with this throw in. It's Santos who takes it. He's going to look to launch it high and down the pitch. It's not quite going to work out for him just yet though. He's forced to go back. He'll now eventually take it down the line. Macau is beaten by Torres, and it's now with Bogard. Sancho just up ahead of him, looking to make things happen. It's not working out though. Macau now gets back on the ball for Lille. Defensive pass though towards the goalkeeper again, and Bemba now with the ball just on the edge of his own penalty box. 8 minutes left to go in the first half, and it's still goalless between Lille and Aston Villa. Lille finished around 16th place in the league phase. Villa of course finished second. A real impressive performance and campaign from Unai Emery's men. Lille having to go through the playoffs. It was a decent challenge for Villa so far. Of course, that's still weakened by a few of those injuries. We've already mentioned the likes of Kamara, McGinn as well. Once the centre is a good one. Space though is opening up now, and Luiz floats a lovely ball down the right side, and Bogard can charge forward again now. The Villa right back, early ball again is blocked by Mandit and then cleared away by Parod out for a throw-in. It's just starting to open up a little bit there.
It is, and I think maybe both sides going into half-time are thinking, could we get that chance? Could we take the lead before half-time? And how important that would be going into the second half as well. But what Villa do so well is they play from the back and they play quite vertical. They're almost just dinking into someone who plays it back, and then space opens up, and that's how you want to play it from the back, don't you? It's risky, but when it works quite well. And because Villa do it so often, they do it so well. They're very trained to do it. Again, they might make a mistake, but when it works, as I say, it works very well for them. They're just getting closer to the men as well. Onana there, just biting at the heels of Perrin. They're closing them down much better. And again, compared to, as you said, you spotted it almost as soon as I passed it over to you, Villa have up the stakes. But again, that could have been a tactic for both teams. That right about the 25th minute mark, let's up the tempo. Let's not make any early mistakes, if anything.
Yeah, that definitely feels like the way that Villa are going with this one. 6 minutes left to go in this first half. Definitely has had the feel of a game that needs a goal. Looking at the XG, 0.06 for Lille, 0.03 for Aston Villa, which tells you the story of it really. Neither goalkeeper, I mean there's not really any point in either of them being there at the moment. As Perard now finds it over on the left. First time ball is a good one. Giroud tries to tap it round the corner, but there's already the run being made by Andre towards the other side, and it's again Lille turning the ball over. Good passes this from Villa, and Rodgers is 30 yards from goal. Go for the strike as well. He wants to corner it, thinks it's taken a touch off Santos last. It hasn't, according to the referee. Rodgers incensed by that decision. That's better though from Villa. Again with the line breaking passes, he wants to take the shot on. Watkins is making one forward. We'll see the replay. I think he definitely comes off of Santos, so I think he's got a point there, Rodgers.
Yeah, it's one of them, but it's awkward for the referees, and just the angle you're looking at. And again, whether it's a corner, goal kick, whatever it is, both players for every team always ask, because the referee almost go, well, it's not Rodgers didn't go, oh, you know, what it is, or Santos thought it was a corner. Both teams put their arms in the air. That might be a late foul on Santos there. I don't think the referee will give a yellow card though. But again, Rodgers going for goal, you know he's got it in his locker, hasn't he? So you're not really too fussed. If that was Luca Digne going for goal, there you go, could you have held off there? but he's confident in his strike, he's confident in what he was doing. It was plenty, just a little bit at the back of the right calf, Achilles there for Santos. Making a meal out of it. I'm not saying it won't be painful, but I don't think it's a yellow card either, and I don't think he's been given a yellow card.
No, it hasn't. The Spanish referee, who's been happy to let the game flow, to be honest, as much as he possibly can do. Just a stern word there with Emiliano Buendia. Still no yellow cards have been shown in this match, and we're into the final 5 minutes of the first half in northern France. Lille now again with the ball at the back with the goalkeeper Oza. Still no other goals as well in the Europa Leagues in the games other than that one against that one between Stuttgart and Porto. Meanwhile, though, in the Conference League, Alex Alkmaar 1-0 up against Sparta Prague. It's 1-0 to Shakhtar away at Lech. Strasbourg winning as well away at Rijeka. And then Rayo Vallecano 2-1 up in their game against Semenspor. So some goals flying in the Conference League. We quite like some in what's meant to be the better competition, the more higher quality. It doesn't feel like that though at the moment, as Mandy now brings the ball forward for the home side. Perraud over to his left on the touchline, makes inroads towards the centre of the field. Again though, they're set up well organisationally at the moment. It is Rodgers and Watkins as well who are the front two when in these defensive positions. Of course, Watkins and Rodgers aren't going to press too much, as it's now with Haraldson. Been quiet so far for Lille. Mentioned about sort of injury problems that Villa have had in this one. Lille are also missing Magami, who's their top scorer in the Europa League this season so far. 4 goals for him. Andre now in the centre. It's now Santos, about 40 yards from goal, looking to get towards the edge of the box. Good ball through as well. Haraldson inside the area, has to turn back the other way, does well to find Santos again. Macau over to his right if he finds him, goes in the centre as well. First time ball around the top, Santos should get there ahead of the byline. Puts it back across goal, there's the header from Giroud at the near post. It goes across the face of goal. Villa should eventually get it clear with Bagard, does. Watkins dispossessed though, Lille should come again. Mandy winning the ball, tries to thread it through for Andre, who makes a late lunge to press it. And that was almost an opening there for the former Chelsea and Arsenal man.
It's a lovely ball over the top of Andre, isn't it? Then a great cross from Santos, and because he's not even in the range of the goal, is he? He's on the outside of the post, if you will. So the header, he's almost got to curl it. That's only with his head. He's a fantastic header of the ball, so he'll know what he needs to do. But it's awkward as well. It's not an easy chance at all. But again, it's probably Lille's best chance. Of course, Macau's was offside, so we can't count that, of course, as we spoke about earlier. But that's again, we've seen bits of stuff, as you say, about the quality. You're right, we want to see goals, we haven't seen the quality, but you see it there and you go, no, it's there, it's just neither team is willing to go for it at the moment.
Yeah, all the goals in the Europa League being definitely hogged. It's now 2-1 to Porto against Stuttgart. The German side have half the deficit. It's Dennis Undav who's made it 2-1 there, so one to keep an eye on. As Lille go for the strike, it's spilled by Martinez. Thankfully for him though, Torres is there to mop it up. Clearance is only as far though as Perraud on that left side. What a bit of skill that is. Up towards the edge of the box now. Haraldson on the edge of the area. Can't quite keep it. Although it's now being run made by Perrin across the face of goal again. It's a bit high and looping. Digne, another option than to just head it behind for a corner. But Lille in a good moment. I think Emi Martinez is really lucky there with that. It's Perraud who goes for the strike. It's maybe an awkward one to deal with, but he spills it right in front of him. And thankfully Torres right there just to save him.
You're right. You'd rather him parry that out for a corner, wouldn't you, or at least out of the area. Whereas you're correct, if Torres isn't there, Giroud's tapping that home, because I don't think Martinez, well, they do it. If Giroud takes that shot, let's say, and he saves it, the reactions off the charts from Martinez. But Digne does well, just done it round for a corner. Here come Lille.
Yep, out swinging corner out from Perrin. Good ball as well, but it's Concert with the clearance. It's now Perrin, edge of the area. He'll go for the strike. It's a wild effort from him in the end though, and never troubling Martinez. It's taken us 44 minutes though to get the first shot on target in this match. It was a decent effort as well, but Martinez almost with a poor moment there. Goalkeepers having poor moments in these midweek Europe matches feels like the theme of them so far. I won't mention of course the Tottenham goalkeeper, bless him. Could be a problem now though for Andre, who's stayed down in the result of that one. He had a bit of a coming together with Torres in front of him, or maybe it was just an awkward one. I'm not actually sure where the injuries come from there, but he's back up to his feet now and walking, but it certainly looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, he does, and again, that's a player you want to play on. The 35-year-old, he's so experienced, of course, got the armband on as well. Yeah, well, like, unless maybe just, I don't know, twinged something before and felt it a little bit more. I'm not too sure, but go kick for Villa, but you're right about that shot on target. That's what you need to do, though, sometimes, don't you? For example, that's why you look at Rodgers going for his shots outside the area. If his shot winds up like that, there's always a chance. Here comes Villa, though, with Sancho.
Yeah, down the other end, 2 minutes added on. Sancho on the edge of the box now, trying to get it onto his left foot. Goes around the outside. That's a wild effort in the end. I'm not even sure it's taken a touch off a little player. It hasn't. Just a really poor ball in from Jadon Sancho, who hasn't really been in the game in this first half, unfortunately. Villa are looking to him to be that creator, but he's just not really been involved.
No, he hasn't. And again, that's a poor delivery. As you said, I was hoping that it might have taken deflection to maybe make him look a little bit better, Sancho, if his blushes, but yeah, he's been pretty poor in this half. And again, I think Watkins and Rodgers have been good. I think Onana and Luiz have been quite good, but I'd say in terms of attacking areas, I know again it's been quite patient and slow at times. I think Buendia and Sancho look a little bit off the pace at the moment. So again, just having a quick look at the Villa bench. I'm not saying they'll make changes at half time. Well, Unai Emery, but you've got McGinn, you've got Bailey. Maybe you move Rodgers out on the left, player two up top with Abraham. He's got options off the bench, and I think he will use them.
Yeah, he certainly will. He'll look to make the best out of his squad, as there's a slip there from Onana, but Villa keep hold of it. That's a great ball forward if Watkins has managed to stay on side. Flag will stay down and he'll win the throw-in as well. Final 30 seconds of this first half. Can Villa create one last chance right at the end of it? Are we going in at the break 0-0? Watkins now picks it up, ball into the area, is looking decent, and Mbemba though with the header away. Harrelson helps it on its way. It's now for Luiz. Concert just in front of the centre circle. It's got to go forward from Villa. Concert just edging forward slowly. Now finds Bagard out on the right hand side. Now towards Sancho. Run being forward again by Rodgers. Touch there from Bentley, but the Englishman still keeps hold of it. Great skill from Morgan Rodgers as well, up towards the edge of the box now. Still going. Rodgers, can he get the shot where he can't? He tries to knock it back. Bentley gets in front of him. Poor clearance on Villa coming again. It's now with Sancho. He's now drifting inside. Ball through. Rodgers inside the penalty area. Right-footed shot might have taken a deflection on the way through. Rodgers incensed about that one. I'm not sure if he's blown for half-time or if it's for a goal kick. That seemed to certainly take a touch off of the defender on the way through. We'll see it again. Not too sure upon the initial replay. It seems to definitely take a touch off of Mandy though.
Yeah, it looks like his outstretched leg comes off of him, but that skill was great from Rodgers, and we're just about to go into half time. Yeah,
we certainly are. The referee decides that is going to be the last action of the half. So a cagey first half comes to an end in northern France. Emi Martinez has made the only real save of the game after a decent strike from Paramount, the Lille left back. But with that, it's half time. It's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0.
Half time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half time, it's goalless. Half time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez, but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16 first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, it's goalless. Half-time in the Europa League round of 16, first leg in France, and it's Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. A really tense first 45 minutes from both sides, quite clearly neither wanting to give an edge and giving away any excuses and any real danger. The real danger came from a shot outside the area, his own shot on target in the first half from Perard, saved by Martinez but spilt, cleared away by Torres. Best chance Villa came from Rodgers' late effort that went wide. Half-time, And it's a warm welcome back to the second half of this evening's independent off-tube studio commentary of the round of 16 action in the Europa League from France as Lille host Aston Villa, getting us underway in the second half. Our Aston Villa, they're going from left to right in their white and purple away strip this evening, whereas the host Lille from right to left in the usual home kit red jersey with navy shorts and socks to boot. Long ball forward into Watkins, well defended though by Parade at the back for Lille. There's just been one change by both sides, and that comes from the host. Benjamin Andre, the experienced French midfielder for Lille, the skipper as well, he's gone off. Did have that bit of a knock at the back end of the first half, so experience off and youth on. Ayoub Bouadi is onto the field, the young midfielder. He's 18, might have even turned 19 recently, but still a teenager. He's on in place of the experienced Andre. Skipper now for Lille is Olivier Giroud. No changes for Villa, so quickly they'll full lineup. It's Ozer in goal, back four of Santos, Mbemba, Mandi and Pirard, with Macau and Bouadi and Bentaleb as the midfield three. Macau's been given a bit more support going forward for the front three of Perrin, skipper Giroud now, and Haraldson. Whereas for Villa, it's Martinez in goal, back four of Bogard, Konza, Torres and Digne, with Louise and Onana in midfields, with Sancho, Buendia and Rogers supporting Ollie Watkins. That front four, very fluid it has to be said. Rogers even more central than Buendia. He plays it out to Sancho, who was rather quiet and ineffective in that first half. The Manchester United man, back to Bogard, who I thought was quite impressive in that right back slot. I will bring my co-coms Josh in just a moment, but Villa are coming forward down the right hand side, perhaps looking for an early goal in the first half. Buendia looking for a reverse pass there to Rogers. They have it, but they're being pressed and hounded down Lille, and they have to go long. Konza and Torres are there to deal with it nice and easily. They will win the ball going back. So we're 2 minutes into the game. Villa have been the better side in this opening 2 minutes, but they probably ended the half a little bit better. But as I passed over to Josh halfway through the first half, first 20 minutes were very slow, probing. Neither team really got underway. It's myself, Lewis Rafter, joined by Josh Maikin, take you through the second half. And as I said, Josh, when I passed it over to you, it picked up. There was a low bar, of course, as you rightfully pointed out. Hopefully, though, we just keep getting better and better, and in the second half, both teams look to go for a bit more to take that advantage into the second leg. Yeah,
that's what we want to see, isn't it, as a neutral perspective. We already mentioned it as well, though. Sometimes in these first leg games, you don't see that much happening. Both teams just sort of want to make sure they've got something to play for in that second leg. I mean, we've seen already in these European games in midweek, some of the ties already feel like they're over. Both sides will want to be avoiding that if they can. Villa have just won the ball out the pitch, though.
Rogers driving into the penalty area. Will he go for goal? He does, and he sliced it on the outside of his right boot. Oh, it's really good play, but you said in the first half that Villa have caught Lille sometimes, and a good amount of times now, including that one when they're high up the field. Could Rogers, first of all, I think he should have done better there on the ball. But do you think he could have done better? Could he have held up and got his head up, played someone else in? Could he have dragged it across goal? Could he have got his head up and passed it to Watkins, for example?
Yeah, he definitely could have. I mean, Morgan Rogers in that situation, he's always going to, I think, go for goal though and try and get it on target. I think the decision is not a bad one from him at all, but I think he's got to do so much better. He's had a similar chance to that in the first half. He got a lot closer that time. With it, he actually nearly forced the keeper into a save. This time, though, he's leaning over on it too much. He can't get his foot around it. So I guess hindsight's a wonderful thing. We could probably say, well, that's the wrong decision. He probably should have played the ball to Ollie Watkins. But you know, if he manages to find the net, we're calling it a fantastic decision from him. But a good start to the second half for Villa. A bit crisper with the passing. It's what Unai Emery will have wanted to see. And it looks like Lille actually in the next few minutes might already be readying another change.
Yeah, we just saw pictures. Again, it's independent off-tube studio commentary, so we don't hear anything in the stadium. We don't get more information than perhaps others do. But of course, we're at the mercy of the broadcaster. They pointed at Perrin, who did the substitute signal. We'll bring in a moment as ball forward into the feet of Watkins in the penalty area. Holds it up well. He's forced to cut back inside. He might go for goal himself. He does. Nearly falls kindly for him. Well defended by the duo of Santos and Mbemba. They play it forward to Giroud. He knocks it down nicely on the right hand side, and Lille might have a counter attack. Don't, just keeping the ball there was Mackay. And now he might go from right to left here. Perrin is high on the left hand side, but definitely looks like he's pulled something. He's not. I don't think he's actually on the ball. I can imagine he'll play a pass. He won't want to do much more. And the ball, no, Bogard will keep it in play. Linesman said it's good to continue. So Lille at the moment almost playing with 10 men, with Perry not being able to really do much. Bogard on the right hand side, ball to the edge of the area, nearly falls for Buendia, will fall for Douglas Luiz, dinks it over the top. Sancho can't get there, but Bernard can. Battle in the middle for the ball. Douglas Luiz comes away with it. He was very quiet in the first half, probably in the way you want a defensive midfielder to be quiet, if I'm honest. But we will get, I assume Perry will go off. They've got a couple of players on the bench. You've got Felix Correa, he's a winger. Got options. Matthias Fernandez, he could come on as well. So we'll have to wait and see. I think Villa are going to stop the game as they've realised Perry he's gone down and he just can't. It looks like he might have pulled his groin, his hamstring. Again, we saw it about maybe 5 minutes ago now. I'm just doing the signal to look. I've pulled something. I've got to come off. It looks like it might be Fernandez coming on. So for Lille, what will be the worry is they've made a change at half time. Andre coming off, Biwadi coming on. Perrin's going to have to come off as well. They'll still have 2 spots left and 3 subs left. 2 blocks to take, 3 subs to take. But that's 2 subs made due to injury, not because they think, right, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's nightmarish stuff, isn't it, for Lille? You want your players available, especially when there's another tie around the corner. They won next week, so they'll hopefully be okay for that. Well, Perrin is still receiving treatment. He's right next to the pitch, though, so they are actually going to just take him off, and there's no point even risking it, really. It's unfortunate. He's looked lively as Perrin at times. Looks like a good outlet down on that left-hand side. Good pace about him as well. You can see he looks pretty distraught having to be replaced. We're all right, though. Fernandez on in his place.
With number 7 on, Fernandez Pardo on from a 28 19 Perrin. Fernandez can play striker, can play winger. I assume it'll still be a 4-3-3 with Fernandez wide on the probably right hand side. Maybe even he might move to the left. Harrelson to the right. We'll have to wait and see. Giroud, of course, will still lead the line-up, though, no doubt about that. 52 minutes on the clock. Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. The second half's been all for Unai Emery's villains. They've been much the better side, hardly any possession so far. It has to be said for Lille, the possession they've had very much been inside their own half. Villa just about 60%, but they've had it in their own half, which they do now. They've had it in the half of Lille. They've looked a lot more intense and direct with what they're trying to do. Of course, as we've already mentioned, we're not the only game this evening. In the other game you can catch on the service at the moment in the early kick-off rounds for the Europa League. Bologna through Bernardeschi have taken the lead at home to Roma. Our colleagues Tom and Kieran are on that one, and they will be on one later on at 8 o'clock as well. Of course, myself and Josh will be on Celta Vigo against Lyon as the Europa League round of 16 continues to roll on. But here in France, Lille 0, Aston Villa 0. Josh spoke about in the first half. These first legs will be rather cagey. You don't want to make a mistake with, as we spoke about in the first half. When we finish full time, we're almost half time. It's almost more like a basketball game. Half time, that's your first quarter done, your second quarter after this almost. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out in the second half. But Villa have been much the better side, and they've got the ball with Konza. That's a heavy pass looking for his centre back partner in Pau Torres. Ball forward from Digne, nearly a mistake there from Mbemba. Buhari has to come over, but Villa win the ball back. It's a poor pass from Sancho, and at the moment we spoke about the fluidity of that front four. Looks like Rodgers is on the right hand side, Sancho a bit more central, and to a degree I don't know if that's Unai Emery trying to confuse the Lille defence. As in, like, right, you were going to mark him, he's over here now. I will bring Josh in a moment as Lille foraying forward into the Villa half, and Fernandez an opportunity, ball into the box, catching practice for Emi Martinez. But that could be a thing that Unai Emery is just trying to move that free behind Watkins about. So, for example, Biwadi's come on at half time, right, you're going to mark Morgan Rodgers, that's your man. Oh, well, he's on the right hand side now, so who do I mark? Well, you mark Sancho, and then when they swap again, it's maybe just trying to create problems in the Lille defensive end of where's my marker and who do I mark?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those many tactical sort of weapons he's got up his sleeve, isn't it, Unai Emery? Maybe just trying to change the game up somehow. He's trying everything he can, of course. Of course, with those players out, you've got to think a little bit more outside the box, a bit away from your usual self. It'll pay off nicely in the end, you would hope, as Villa become more adaptable and versatile. Yeah, for the time being at the start of this second half, they've started decently, but again, they've not tested the goalkeeper at all. Oza, he's very isolated at the moment, the Lille goalkeeper. He must be getting fairly cold as well in the north of France, still in the winter months, nearly of course. So just want to see a little bit better from Villa. We expect so much of them after we've seen them in the last few years, and Unai Emery is certainly going to be having his thinking cap on.
Yeah, as you said, he's a great knockout European coach, isn't he? Well, he definitely won 3 Europa Leagues, might have even won 4.
Won it more than anyone else, hasn't he, the Europa League?
Yeah, I know he won that, the 3-0 with Sevilla. He won one with Villarreal, won to beat Manchester United in 2021. For some reason, I want to say he might have won another, but he definitely won 4, hasn't he? As you say, such a successful coach in knockout football. You said it perfectly. It's almost over 2 legs. He will suss you out if he's got the right players and the right amount of tactics up his sleeve. I'm sure. Again, coming into this game as well, he's to me such a, in the best way, a reactionary coach that he also knows. Look, we conceded 4 goals last time. Yeah, Chelsea are a great team. We conceded 4. When it came to clean sheet in our last 4 games, we've conceded 10 in those 4. Perhaps even he's maybe looking at it from a confidence point of view of, let's get a 0-0, let's get a clean sheet, let's get defensively a bit of confidence about us, and that takes you then onwards. Right, now we've had our clean sheet, right, we didn't lose, we can go to Villa Park again, because that's how he will work mentally maybe to a degree. Let's go get a clean sheet this evening, and then that's that monkey off our back that we've got one this evening. Yeah,
it is as well. It just gives you that stability. I mean, you want to go into that home leg with the tie in your favour. I already mentioned at the start of the game, an hour loss wouldn't even be a disaster for Aston Villa. If they can go there, having got a clean sheet here and getting a draw, it's just 90 minutes at home against a team that you're surely better than on paper and that you've had a good record against in the past as well, beating them on penalties. So they're not going to beat Lille in knockout football. It's just about having that. But Santos now drives forward for the home side.
Forward, but well defended by Aston Villa. Of course, as well, you're right in that, because now there's no away goals, for example. If it's a draw going into the second leg, you'd always probably back at a favourite at home, wouldn't you? As well, Buwadi tries to flow one into the box. Santos is getting really high on that right hand side, he's almost a winger whenever Lille do have the ball. Alson and Wendy are battling for it. That's off of the Argentine, Buwadi. We'll see, he's come on for the injured Andre. He's got his right thigh taped up as well, so perhaps he's carrying something as well. He's not moving with a lot of mobility, I would say, as well. Ball put forward by Mandy. Too much on it and into the feet of Emi Martinez. Giroud looking a little bit frustrated there. You spoke about him being isolated in the first half. He's continued to be that similar kind of way. Of course, in the last leg as well, last round I should say, Villa didn't have to play. They got a few weeks off, if you will, 2 games less in the legs, whereas Lille have had them, and that's something that when it comes to, I won't say now, but maybe when we get to the quarters, you get to the semis, if a team that gets to the quarters and gets to the semis that played that extra playoff round, simple things like that could be something that add up later on, whereas Villa, for example, Lyon, the likes of them, they've had that week off, midweek off, there'll be fresh legs, and as well, let's be quite honest, Villa have a lot of depth in the squad, so they can rotate a lot more than, for example, a Lille can.
They definitely can, but it could also work the other way. They've had more taste of knockout football in this season, so it might actually help you a little bit. If you've had that playoff round, you've already acclimatised to knockout football, and how the 2-leg tie sort of works. There's a little player there who's taken one in the face from point blank range from Amadou Onana. It's not a foul or anything like that, but the referee is going to have to just stop the game momentarily. I'm not sure who it was who got one in the face. I think it was Paramount, wasn't it? The left back. He's right next to Onana. It pings into his face. He might have a few moments down on the deck now. Maybe have to be looked at by the club doctors for the concussion protocols. He is back up and moving fine, so he should be okay, but still a hard one to watch back.
Yeah, his face almost as red as his jersey there, isn't it? It's not a foul, but it's just Onana outstretched leg. It's really pinged off his boot, as you said, and it sent him flush in the forehead, right in the nose, in between the eyes as well. You can imagine he said that's a sore one that I believe he's still on the field, but I'm surprised if even in 5 minutes time if he goes down, you won't knock him for saying, right, I just need a minute here, to be quite honest. We're approaching an hour in. The first leg of the round of 16 Europa League, Lille hosting Aston Villa. Still goalless, and in the second half, the first 5 to 10 minutes, Aston Villa definitely the better side. Lille have grown into it, but still very cagey and still very tense between the two sides. Of course, Lille have already made a few changes so far. We've got the likes of Ngoy. He came on in the second leg against Krevnes Vezda, scored the winner, did the centre back, right back in extra time, so he's an option to come on. Felix Correa, they've got options as well. Aston Villa, of course. You've got Martson to come on, possibly. Mings, Lindelof, if you want to add a defender, perhaps. If you're trying to see out a 1-0 win late on, you've got attackers in Harvey Elliott, John McGinn, Bailey, Abraham, ball into the box on the head of Giroud. He's impossibly offside. Saved well by Martinez, straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Not sure if the flag has gone up, but that was a good ball in there on the left-hand side. It's very clear. I don't know if I haven't seen a picture if the linesman put his flag up there. Unfortunately, I think he was just onside there. It was just a bit flat though. He was always really stretching as well to get his hand there.
Yeah, it's a tough one. He's got to generate all the power, hasn't he, from that situation. He's too far away from the goal to really be able to do so. I mean, even still, a younger Giroud might even have a better chance of scoring that one with the outrageous goals he used to score. Villa down the other end though.
On the ball, it's nodded into Watkins, who loops it over the goalkeeper, and it's in the back of the net, just like that. Direct ball over the top, nodded on to Watkins. We just saw Giroud with a header, saved well by Martinez. That time Watkins got underneath it in all the best ways, looped it over the goalkeeper. We have our goal just after the hour mark here. It's Lille 0, Aston Villa 1. Watkins' first goal in the Europa League this season.
Yeah, a huge moment for Ollie Watkins. His first goal in the Europa League this season, his first goal in total since the 25th of January when he scored against Newcastle. A massive moment for him in Villa's season, and it's not too dissimilar actually to the position that Giroud's just been in down the other end. This time it's a lot easier for Watkins. There's more pace on the ball. It's a great one forward from Konsa. We wanted to see that being direct from Villa. Buendia does really well to challenge him and Bemba for it. Goes on to Watkins. He can just run onto it though a lot more than Giroud can. He loops it over the goalkeeper who's way off his line. It might be the first shot on target for Villa in this game, and they've taken it. They've been clinical. And see there, Buendia, we've just seen the replay, beats Mbemba to it. He's got no right at all to be the central defender to that header in that position. So that's brilliant from the Argentine to get the assist for it. Watkins getting all the power on the header as well. Big goal for Aston Villa.
Just looking at you spot on that. I thought it last came off in Bemba, and it was just a Buendia put him off. Buendia, 170 centimetres, I'm going to say about maybe 5'7", 5'6". Mbemba just about 6 foot, and he's a big, strong defender. He's Mbemba, but that just shows, as you said, sometimes, and that isn't a long ball. That is a long pass by Konsa that you pointed out. That's what we want. We don't want to just see aimless balls being played long. You want to Konsa took a touch, saw Buendia make a run, Watkins make a run. Right, I'm going to try and pick my teammate out. That's what you want to see. And now this could be half an hour where Aston Villa, first of all, yeah, now they're 1-0 up. As you said, even a narrow draw, a narrow loss or a draw wouldn't have been bad. Now they possibly could go into the second leg with a win. And I won't be surprised if Unai Emery probably goes for the next maybe 10 minutes or 15. Could we go get a second? Because that'd be great for us, and then the last 10 or 15 maybe shut up shop.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to see, isn't it, Villa not being able to go through now. If they go and score the next goal in this game, they'd have a 2-goal advantage, be then taking that back to Villa Park, you know, where they've done well this season. Not really as much in recent times, but still, over the course of Unai Emery's tenure, you know, Villa Park's been an absolute fortress. So if they can get another one here, I mean, you don't want to say tie dead too early on, but it does have the feel of that would be it for Lille. It would be too much of an uphill battle for them to come from behind from. And you know, if those two injuries are still out as well, they've lost a bit of their squad. It's going to take a lot of character and quality for them to come back in this one. So yeah, I think Unai Emery will just say, let's take some momentum now, let's try and go for the kill. And if it's still not quite gone in for that second, I think they will just sort of think, right, we'll shut up shop here, take a few of the more important players off and just make sure we get through without anything else.
Yeah, I can imagine you would see a Tammy Abraham come on for his height and power up top, his work rate to boot as well. Giroud just giving away a foul there against Konsa. Won't surprise me if a Konsa goes off and you bring on a Lindelof, a bit of experience of course. And we'll speak about Unai Emery beating. Lindelof was in that final for the Red Devils, in which Unai Emery won, so he's been to the final. I'm sure he'd love to win a piece of silverware after being released by the Red Devils and saying, look, I've still got something about me, does the Swedish defender. I thought it's been a great acquisition for Emery's side, but again, they're looking confident going for a second. Goes to the commentator, that's a bad pass from Rodgers, but Giroud can't find his teammate. Pirad's driven forward. That leaves a lot of space here for Sancho. Drives down the right hand side. Can he pick out a teammate? Ball into the box just in front of Buendia. Luiz nods it down, and Onana goes for a strike at goal. Tries to curl it, just leaning back a little bit. Luiz nodded it down for Rodgers. His deflected effort fell back for the Belgian, and he just was running onto it. And you're just thinking, could it curl into the back of the net? Hits it weakly. It's off the outside of the post as well, apologies. That would have been a wonderful goal, and that would have been 2-0, as you say, a real mountain to climb for Lille if that went in.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, if anyone can hit them from that sort of range as well, it is going to be Amadou Onana. Fantastic strike from the Belgian, really unlucky not to score. Lille, though, well, they've got to do something, and they are. They're going to make 2 changes. Meunier is going to come on for Santos, so that's a like-for-like swap, isn't it? Right back off for a right back, the former PSG man. Macau is also going to be replaced by the number 27, Felix.
Yeah, so that's more of an attacking change. Felix, Correa, we'll say Felix on his back, so that's best as you prefer to. It's very hard, isn't it, when you see a player at Memphis Depay, he's got Memphis on his back. How do you say his name? But Felix, he's more of an out-and-out winger. So you can imagine Mackay, he's been more of that attacking midfielder. You can imagine it'll still be Bentaleb and Bouhaddi as defensive midfielders, but more of a front four now to maybe put the pressure on Aston Villa. But again, if anything, but we spoke about this for Aston Villa. Yes, so they're 1-0 up now, and let's say Lille start getting the ball knocking around. They'll also be quite happy to sit and defend and counter when they can, and that maybe that's how they get the second goal.
Yeah, you could definitely see it. I mean, they're fantastic in transitions, aren't they? They've got the pace and creativity going forward just to sort of hit you with the odd pass and then the free. I mean, that's what happened for the first goal. It's the long pass forward from Conte, headed on by Buendia, and then headed into the net by Watkins. Only 2 passes in the build-up to that goal, and they were so effective. They're better when they're like that, Villa. Instead of the side-to-side and predictable stuff, when they go direct and the sort of attack teams through the centre, that's when they're at the best. And Lille now just run the risk of being overwhelmed in that situation.
Spot on. With that, you were correct as well. 1 shot on target for Villa, 1 goal. So effective and efficient, you have to say. 8 shots as a total. 0.03 of an XG was Watkins said, and I'm not saying it was a massive chance, but I thought it was a little bit more than a 0.03. It has to be said, considering Onana's was a 0.03 as well. That's why I think maybe people get confused with a bit of XG. When we look at the shots for Lille, they've had 6 shots, so they've had less than Villa. They've had 2 shots on target. That's a decent ball into the box, looking for the head of Fernandez. It might have a bit, he goes up top next to Giroud now that Felix is on. Maybe Felix on the right and Aralson who's finding space in that number 10 position. Ball into the box, Konza heads it away. Rodgers is back as well and he wins the header. There might be a counter-attack on now. Luiz over the top to Ollie Watkins. He's onside. He's got a 1-on-1. Can he grab his second, make it 2-0? Takes it past the goalkeeper. He's brought down. But what is the decision by the referees? He said Watkins is almost chuck it over and he's going over, or is he going to give the penalty? It's a very awkward one. You can see what Watkins is trying to do, but you can always see that Watkins wants to take that, and he almost, I think, goes into the goalkeeper himself. You know what he's doing there. And when I see the referees, it's independent off Tube Studio commentary, we're seeing replay, so yet to see what the referee has given here. What do you think, Josh?
It's a goal kick. I don't think it's a penalty. I think Watkins wastes this chance. He should shoot early. He's trying to take it round the goalkeeper. He ends up jumping over the keeper. I mean, it's quite an interesting one, though, isn't it? Watkins evades the goalkeeper by jumping over him. If he just stays running and then just falls over the goalkeeper, is that then a penalty? Or because he's actually jumped over the keeper himself, has he sort of let the referee make the decision for him? Really interesting one. The keeper is actually down injured as a result of it. Rodgers is pleading the case to the referee. It's a really funny one, though. I don't think it is a penalty because I think Watkins has wasted the chance. He should just take the shot on earlier. If he does, it's probably tie over. 2-0 and Villa are going back to Birmingham all happy. And now it just keeps Lille in the tie a little bit longer.
And what I would say as well, you are right. I don't think it's a penalty, I agree with you, but it is quite a grey area, isn't it? But I don't know why he doesn't go to the other side. Because if he goes the other side, he's got 2 defenders to his left. If he goes to that side, the keeper has to take him out because he's reaching for the ball. So you might get taken out with the penalty, but also there's no defenders to your right. So you can get if you get past, let's say the keeper doesn't foul him there, and he gets past him, those 2 defenders could also catch up to him and win the ball. I thought it was just poor decision making, and you are right. First of all, that keeps Lille in the tie. Play devil's advocate. Let's say Lille go get an equaliser, whether it's in the next 5 minutes, the last kick of the game, doesn't matter. You now go 1-1 into Villa Park instead. You really should be going minimum 2-0.
Yeah, they should be. I mean, they're going to get more chances in this game. I think that's becoming really apparent now. The way that Lille are just exposing themselves, obviously trying to go forward, it's the honourable thing, but they are just leaving the gaps open. I mean, how easy was that for Villa? It was just a nice ball over the top again from Luiz. Not just a hopeful one, a pretty precise one. And Watkins had timed his run perfectly because he started from inside his own half. If they're going to be able to do that in the 70th minute, imagine what it's going to get like in the 90th minute where Lille have got everyone forward trying to get something to take to that second leg, it is going to open up for Villa.
Yeah, I can imagine, because even Morgan Rogers, who's been basically playing as a duo up top, as we've said, with Watkins, he's dropping back to help out, but Watkins is almost staying forward so those two centre-backs can't go up and join, isn't he? So they have to keep a hold of him, so that stops an extra body going up there. And then for that second, you're right, he almost, although inside his own half, got behind the two centre-backs, and Luis, as you say, just kind of went, right, run on to this one. Massive chance wasted. It's not a penalty. We are back underway. The stoppage in play was due to a head injury for the Lille goalkeeper, Beck Ozer. We are underway, but Villa do have the ball and they'll be hungry for a second. There should have been a second for Ollie Watkins, but he wasted his chance. But as I say, 70 minutes on the clock. We're halfway through the second half. 3/4 of the game this evening done and dusted. It's independent off-tube studio commentary. The first leg of round of 16 action in the Europa League. Lille hosting Aston Villa. Thanks to a Watkins goal on the hour mark, it's Unai Emery's side who lead 1-0. Take us through to full time. Pass you over to Josh.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lewis. We see Villa attacking again now with Digne down the left side, knocks it inside towards Douglas Luiz. Get the chance that Villa starting to smell blood in the north of France now this evening. It's a calm, controlled performance from them, and the space opening up again now. Watkins trying to find Sancho to the right. Probably should have done better with the pass. It's good interception from Perraud. He now releases his man down the left in Fernandes, the substitute at the half-time break. Have Lille caught Villa out. Fernandes is going towards the edge of the box there. He wasn't closed down for a while. He's then blocked off by Luiz, who's done it legally according to the referee. Gets round Bouhaddi as well now. This could be the chance for Villa down the other end. It's so open at the moment for both teams. Watkins on the edge of the area, wants to get the ball into the box. It's low and out. It's a good one as well into the centre. Luiz sliding in. Crucial interception though from Mounier, who sent it behind.
That was a good piece of play again, but as you said, it is Villa, because Lille are throwing bodies forward, gaps are opening up, aren't there? Watkins is really well. It's not the greatest of first touches, but he keeps it alive, and it's a great ball across. Just put it into a good area. Hopefully one of my teammates get end of it, because what you've got to do as well, that's where Watkins wants to be, isn't he? He wants to be in there. If he's got to hope one of my teammates makes a run, Luiz did, meant they had to clear, but Villa are on the ball, and although 1-0 up, they look like the most likely to go get a second in this game and put themselves 2-0 up.
Yeah, it certainly has that feel at the moment, but they have just been given a little bit of a scare by Lille. Now Bentaleb on the ball down the right side. Surely the flag will go up eventually, but they're still going to be in regardless at the near post. Could be a save for Martinez to make. He doesn't. The man on the far side, he's absolutely scuffed it. It's the substitute, Felix Carrera. The flag eventually does go up. He looked a mile offside, to be fair, when the ball was played. See from the replay, he is as well. But, I mean, even if the flag had stayed down, that is a pretty big loss of composure there for the substitute.
Yeah, he just lost his line, doesn't he? He kicks the ball and it bobbles away. I think it was well defended by Villa in the sense to put pressure on him. As you said, it's offside, so it wasn't bad. But if anything, yeah, it's offside. Put the ball in the back of the net to give yourself a bit of confidence as well that you have scored and that you have put the ball in the back of the net. It's little things like that, isn't it, that could be the difference. Next time, Felix, if he's one-on-one, I'm sure in the back of his mind, I think, well, I scuffed this last time. I was offside, but I scuffed this. Looks like Villa are going to make at least one change. It might even be two. John McGinn's going to be coming on as well. And that's a depth. I know he's been injured for a while, but to bring him on at this stage of the game, he's going to win fouls. He's going to get in those Lille players' heads, and he could even grab a second. Yeah, this is a huge psychological boost, isn't it, now for McGinn when he eventually comes on. His first game since the 18th of January when he was injured in that game at home against Everton. He's not played for Villa since then, so this is huge for them. Just having him on the pitch, he's one of the big leaders on that pill. I mean, how long has he been at Aston Villa now? Must have been around 10 years or something, at the very least, yeah. So a big moment for Aston Villa. He's not on the pitch just yet though, as Perraud has this throw in. He takes it inside towards Haraldson. He's fouled there by Watkins inside the Villa half. Bouhaddi in a rush to get the game underway. Takes the free kick quickly over towards Mounier on the right side. He's trying to judge whether Felix Carrera is going to go early or not. Freddie finds him with the short pass. Bouhaddi now in the centre, turns on his heels. Bentaleb back to Bouhaddi. Now Mbemba. Looks like Stuttgart have completed the comeback against FC Porto in that game in Germany. A fantastic Europa League clash there. Stiller has got the second goal for Stuttgart, so 2-2 between those two. Haraldson linking up with Felix. Now back to Bouhaddi in the centre. Long extended spell of possession now for Lille as they look to get themselves back on level terms with Aston Villa. It's now Fernandes moving inside. He's got inroads as well, and Fernandes still going. Curling shot is a good one. Forces Martinez down to his left to make the save. Probably a save that the Villa stopper should be making. I'll get Lewis in just a moment as Lille are attacking. Villa clear their lines, but only as far as Bentaleb. It's now with Mandy,
He'll let go for the crossfield ball up towards Buhari, who's in plenty of space on the right side. And sorry, it's Munier actually. And a really poor pass back there. It takes Mbemba back over the halfway line, all the way back to the keeper in the end, but good play from Fernandes.
It was, but that's what, especially after the first half, was it Pirard who had that shot that was spilt by Martinez? If I'm Lille, I'm not saying shoot from 30 yards all the time, but you'd be thinking, he's already spilt one. Is he feeling a little bit less confident to the yards inside than usual? Because to me, he's the most confident of players. He's got to be confident. If he's not confident, he looks so off the boil, doesn't he? They say confidence is a big thing for players, strikers and stuff. Martinez is one of them. When I watch it back now, cuts inside, there's nothing there. Actually, it's one he should be saving, but Fernandes does hit it well.
Yeah, he does. He's aiming for that bottom right corner to curl it as much as he can. He does about as well as he can do. Maybe a bit higher up is the place to be going for it, but it just looks like it spurred those Lille fans on now behind the goal. They look like they're making some good atmosphere out of it, bouncing up and down, trying to spur their team on. But still a big occasion, a massive stadium as well, by the way. Holds over 50,000, the Decathlon Arena. Felix now, though, after the short corner, tries to get the cross in, can't get it past Digne, who smashes it high up into the air. Munier tries to bring it down. Sancho almost beats him to it, but Haraldson now mops up. And Mbemba in an unnatural position goes down under a challenge from Buendia. It looks like a sore one as well. He's clutching the bottom of his feet. The referee has given the free kick as well. Buendia can't believe it. We'll see the replay now. Just sort of stand on the back of Mbemba's foot there, so you can see what the set piece has been given for. In the meantime, though, Villa are going to make a double change by the looks of things. Ollie Watkins is going to make way. First goal in 8 matches for him this evening. Really should have had 2, but blew that chance. He's going to be replaced by Tammy Abraham, so maybe a player who probably will feel like he should have started this game. He's now going to get his chance, though, in the Europa League to come on, and just waiting to see who's going to come off in place of John McGinn. It's Douglas Luiz, so a bit more of a like-for-like swap there as well. John McGinn off for Luiz.
Yeah, and it's one of them, isn't it, where Buendia could drop deep, can't he? It can be McGinn who drops deep. McGinn's the best utility player you could ever imagine. He can play further forward, can play on the left or right. Not a winger, but can play on the left or right, can play a little bit deeper. Can imagine it will be McGinn. A little bit deeper, but he's such a good player to have in the squad. I can imagine Unai Emery loved players like him, doesn't he? Because I assume if he has to play up top, he'd be like, yeah, no worries, boss, I can do that as well. But you spoke about that mentality. If I'm Lille and you see Abraham and McGinn coming on, you sit there and go, wow, the tempo will not stop with those two coming. It's only going to increase. Yeah,
it certainly is. I mean, McGinn already, we can see how ferocious and how long he's been out for, really. He's absolutely flying into challenges already. Lille have just passed it around, though. It's over towards Munier on that right side. He's made a decent impact since coming on. Links with Felix Carrera. They want a free kick there, Lille. Not sure if that's been given or whether it's a throw-in. Instead, it definitely comes off Digne. It might have come off his hand as well. It has. Lille have got themselves a free kick and a chance to get the ball into the area. A bit of gamesmanship here from Buendia, who's trying to make him take the kick a little bit further back. 12 minutes left to go, though, in northern France. It's Lille 0, Aston Villa 1. The home side, though, with a chance now, and there's still some pelters being thrown onto the pitch by their Lille supporters. I'm not sure what they're doing. They're only delaying the game for their own team at the moment, as the Lille midfielder Bentaleb tries to kick some of the balls off the pitch. It's between him and Carrera for this one. Giroud up there in the box being marked by Bagard. Will it be the right of Felix or the left of Bentaleb? Referee happy for this one to come in eventually. It's going to be Felix. In fact, no, he leaves it. Bentaleb strikes it instead. It's into the air. It's a good ball as well. Torres with the clearance. Picked up, though, by Lille again, out towards Paramount. Cross will come in from deep. It's in front of those defenders. A great ball towards the back post. Final touch comes off of Buendia. Only question is it going to be a free kick? Judging by the reaction of those Lille players, the decision goes Villa's way. What a ball in, though, from Perraud. That had to be a man on the end of that.
Oh, it had to be. That's exactly. If you're Perraud, you're saying to him, I can't put a better ball in there. You put it in that quote-unquote corridor of uncertainty where Martinez can't come for it. Unless they've given a foul against Felix F. Buendia, that's really harsh because he's not trying to foul him, he's trying to keep the ball in play. It is the winger. Buendia takes a bit of a knock, but it's not a... He doesn't mean he's not wanting to kick when he's trying to get the ball, and Buendia does well to put his body in the way, but I do think that's a really soft foul because the ball's already gone out of play as well off of Buendia. That's the difference. If the ball was staying in play and he takes Buendia there, I think it's more of a foul and it should have been a corner. But you're right, that's a great. But again, unfortunately, I know you can't every cross put a beautiful one in, but that's taken 80 minutes for Pirard to put that ball in. Sitting there and go, could you put one in the first half? Could that have been your second or third ball you've put in like that and give more chances? Because I bet Giroud saw that and went, well, I didn't know you could. I didn't know you were going to do that. Next time I'll make a run into a better area. Yeah,
that has to be the thinking going forward. I actually thought he had given a goal kick there initially at the referee, and I was like, there's absolutely no way that has come off of a Lille man last. As McGinn now spins, he's surely fouled there by Bouadi, who has his arm high up there towards the Villa captain, who's assumed the armband since coming on. Referee getting a little bit busy at the moment. A few decisions for him to be making elsewhere in the Europa League. Just having a look, it's still 1-1 between Bologna and Roma in that all-Serie A affair. Still goals up between Panathinaikos and Batista. Home side obviously reduced to 10 men in that game. Stuttgart's goal was ruled out as well against Porto. It remains 2-1 to the Portuguese side in that one, as Villa now have their first attack in what feels like quite some time. And they are trying to hold the ball up. He's dispossessed easily in the end though, and Haraldson now drives inside. Good dribbling from him as well before he's dispossessed by McGinn. Too many players to run through in the end. Into the final 9 minutes at this game. Lille still looking for a way back into it. Villa maybe looking to double their lead. Torres just before the centre circle, cross towards Onana. Haraldson again the furthest man forward at the moment for Lille. Not much pressing going on though. Conte now is going to take over as Villa look to maybe slow the game down. Bouadi on this right side takes it inside. Good touch away to get from Fernandez. Another goal's gone in the Conference League. Rayo Vallecano have now put themselves out of sight in that match against Samsunspor. It's 3-1 to the Spanish side. Elsewhere, Strasbourg 2-1 up against Rijeka. Here come Villa down the other end though. Space for Rodgers. He'll get the ball in from deep. This could be a chance. Buendia with the acrobatic, and he can't get it on target. Not sure if it was the best option from the Argentine in the end. Maybe he's better off going with his head. He goes for the audacious, and it's just wide in the end. The goalkeeper sees it all the way, and there is a chance for Villa to really put some daylight between themselves and Lille.
It's a brilliant ball in though, as you say, from Morgan Rodgers. Puts it right where you want. And I think you're right. I think the acrobatics it needed, but he just don't connect with it either is the bigger problem. They make a double change here again. Our Aston Villa, Jadon Sancho will be the first player to be going off. Leon Bailey will be coming on for the on-loan Manchester United man, and Martin's going to be coming on as well for Buendia. So attacking changes again. Martin coming on. He's a left back, but he's an attacking left back, isn't he? He could easily play in that forward four, if you will. So it's like Bailey for Sancho. That'll be like for like. And again, maybe even Rodgers going a bit more centrally. Martin to the left, if you will. So it'd be more right hand side Bailey, centrally Rodgers, left hand side Martin. Just saying to the left back, right, here's your chance to just get up and down and add some fresh legs to the field.
Yeah, it certainly is. Lille have responded as well though with a change of their own. Sariba Dayune has replaced Haraldson, the number 10. So a few changes there, but just to confirm, it's Bailey and Matson on for Villa in place of Buendia and Sancho, and then for Lille, Haraldson off for Dione. Will any of those changes make the desired impact for either side? Ball back now with Martinez. It's a little bit of a risky pass out towards Torres on the edge of his own area. The Spaniard does well though to control it. Ball forward again, looking for the run of Bailey, whose legs are fresh. It's just beaten to it though by Parad. It's now with Bouadi. Parad again. This is good play involving Dione as well. It's just come on. Not a great pass from him though. Concert intercepts, and this is the danger now for Lille. Villa can exploit the space. Bailey, poor first touch from him in the game, really lets it run across him, but the player has found him on this near side. Bailey goes down, already hitting the decks just moments after coming on. Parad is going to escape without a yellow card by the looks of things. Credit to the referee, he's not actually showed a yellow card in this game, and we've only got 5 minutes left of normal time. Bailey will probably say that's intentional what he did there, but he wins the free kick regardless, and that's all that matters at this moment in time for Aston Villa. It's going to be John McGinn as well to take it. Looks like they're going to swing it straight into the box. They're getting the defenders forward, so they know there's the chance here. Tammy Abraham in the box as well. Bailey had a touch of the ball since being brought on for Ollie Watkins. Again, just being made to wait for the time being. Tammy Abraham has actually scored in both of his previous appearances against Lille. Wins for Chelsea. McGinn takes this free kick into the box. Conte misses it, and Bouadi can get it clear, smashes it downfield, all the way to Martinez actually, who's just before the centre circle. He's almost pressed out of it there by Fernandez. Loops it high up into the air. Brown with some good strength against Bentaleb. Coming to the referee as well. Buadi now bringing it forward. Across towards Munier on his right side. Strong challenge there from Maatsen as he looks to make an impact since coming on a few moments ago. They'll have it again though at the back now with Mandy. They're running out of time if they want to take anything back to Birmingham. And with Buadi again, who's been decent since coming on at half-time. Has controlled a lot of Lille's play, now spreads it downfield. Fernandez can get on the end of that as well, just in front of the byline. He's under pressure from Torres, finds reinforcements in Munier. Ball into the box is a good one. Giroud tries to bring it down under his spell. He's not really had much to go for all so far in this one, Olivier Giroud. He's beaten to the ball there again, but Lille will still come forward. It's now with Buadi again, now making inroads on that left foot. In towards the centre though. They've got a man waiting in the form of Mandy, the centre back. Now Bentaleb. Over on the right side again now. Perrin is waiting. Fernandez even. Still has the ball. Buadi in the centre, might go for the shot. Instead he does it. It's the reverse pass. Felix into the box now. Great fake turn. Still going is Felix. Shot is saved. Giroud can't put the rebound home. Villa scramble it clear, and Bemba now on the edge of the box is finally going to be stopped though. An offside given. It must have been Felix. That was in the offside position. Wonderful skill from the substitute, and it looked for all the world they were going to turn the ball home there.
Yeah, that was a lovely piece of play. This reverse pass is great as well. Just offside, probably his right shoulder. He's in offside position, but he does so well. He doesn't know it really, does he? Fakes it, puts Pau Torres on his backside. Great strike with the outside of his right boot as well. And again, Emi Martinez doesn't know it's offside. It's a great save from him as well. What you expect him to make, but as well, you've got to be ready for what's thrown at you, haven't you? But that's really good from Lille. And I think the problem you'll think about, if this was the other way around and Lille winning 1-0, I think Villa will think, yeah, but we're at home next week, aren't we? We've got the home support. Whereas Lille will probably think, we've got to go away losing. That's a massive one, yeah, 1-0 down, but you want to win your home game and just not lose your away leg, don't you? And at the moment, it's not going that way for Lille, but I think the substitutes for the hosts are working so far, and that chance seems to have upped their intensity and their motivation a bit.
Yeah, it's got to spark something inside that ground, hasn't it? As Diune now brings it forward. He's almost past Pagani. He's got fantastic pace as the substitute. Has to play the ball forward. Villa could put a stop to it though. Bailey will now try and bring it forward. Poor footwork from him though, and he's given away a throw-in to Lille. Taken quickly by Perard towards Bentaleb. Now Mandy again in the centre. Across towards Munier over on the far side. It's got to go forward, and it does as well from the Belgian. It's not the greatest pass though. He's asking a lot there of Olivier Giroud, who hasn't got the pace to get onto those sort of balls anymore. And Martinez will just watch that one behind. Just look at the offside stats as well. Lille have had 5 in this game compared to just a 1 for Aston Villa. So it's sort of said a bit about their play. They've not been able to keep themselves inside at times in this one. Martinez is now engaging in a little bit of gamesmanship, quite expectedly so. It's taken him 88 minutes to make old acquaintances with those fans behind the goal, and he's actually going to be the first booking of the game for time wasting, bringing the ball back onto the pitch when there was already 1 on. And yeah, no surprise to see Emi Martinez trying to wind up the Lille fans.
Yeah, it's almost, this is Martinez time, isn't it? If you will, 85 minutes plus trying to waste a bit of time. He's still not taking the kick because he's point of referee saying, no, but I want my players through the field, that's why I haven't done it, referee. There's always an excuse up the sleeve, isn't there, for the Argentine. He's a real wind-up merchant, isn't he? And it's one of them where if you're a Villa fan, you probably you love it, don't you? If your team does it and you're up, you absolutely adore it. When your team's down and you see someone else do it, you sigh and go, is there any need for this? Bogard is fouled there again. Bogard goes down a little bit theatrically, doesn't he? And you see the Lille players, they're very frustrated, but as a whole, I do think Villa deserve the lead. So you can't knock that, and I think they're just doing their best now to let's get to Villa Park with this 1-0 lead. Yeah, it's been a very professional performance, hasn't it, so far from Villa. They've had some nervous moments at times in this game where it's looked like they might be letting Lille back into it, but they've managed it quite well in the end. Every time Lille have had that sort of burst of possession or pressure, they've managed to deal with it fairly comfortably. They've never really forced Emi Martinez into a massive save in this game, the home side. Rodgers there with a foul on Mandy, just by the home side's corner flag. Rodgers again not happy about the decision, but it looked a fairly obvious one in the end. The referee having talking to John McGinn about something. Villa are going to make a change though, actually. It's Harvey Elliott is going to come on for the final minute of this one. It's Morgan Rodgers as well that he's replacing.
He's worked hard in this game as Rodgers. It's not always quite worked out for him, but still a good performance from him, and one that should be a winning one.
Oh, 100%. And on another day, he's had a few shots that he just sliced wide, didn't he? Some passes that haven't gone his way. He put that lovely cross in maybe 10 minutes ago now for Buendia, and you sit there and go, well, Buendia connects better with it. That's an assist for him as well. He plays on the left, he plays on the right, he plays behind the striker. Depends on where he plays, depends on his performance. I think he's best where he is, a bit more centrally, but then that maybe takes away how good he can be on the left and the right, isn't it? And in terms of bringing the ball forward, but it's a good performance for him. And as you say, right, you've done your job, mate. Get on the bench, get prepared for the weekend and the next leg in a week's time.
Yeah, definitely will be what Unai Emery says, or along those lines at least. Winter stoppage time though in this one. 5 additional minutes have been added. That's how long Villa have got to wait until they can confirm they'll be going back to Birmingham with a 1-goal lead. And meanwhile, it looks like there's been some real drama in the game between Panathinaikos and Real Betis. Both sides, and I'm going to finish that game with 10 men. Betis have had a red card, and I believe that Panathinaikos had scored in the 88th minute with a penalty. And they have as well. Panathinaikos are leading later on in that game. A real bit of drama. They'll want a free kick there. They're not going to get one. In fact, it's a Villa one. There's going to be an offside given. Dinier's gone down holding his face anyway. Looked at maybe a bit of a high boot on him at the end. Yeah, that's finished in the other Europa League match as well, though, between Bologna and Roma. The two Italian sides playing out a 1-0 draw in that game. Full-time as well in the Conference League between Alkmaar and Sparta Prague. 2-1 to the home side in that one. So full-time score starting to roll in the early kickoffs in Europe as we get prepped for the 8 PM kickoffs to see what sort of drama they will bring. Hopefully a few more goals maybe in those ones. We've still seen a decent game in this one between Lille and Aston Villa. Not as many as big chances as we would have hoped for. As the ball goes forward, Meunier with a decent header. Digne all over the back of his man there in Felix, and the referee tells to get up. In fact, no, he's not. He's going to stop the game because Felix has stayed down with an injury. I think he's going to book Digne for that as well. He's not produced a yellow card for the first 88 minutes, this referee. He's given Aston Villa 2 within the space of 4 minutes.
Yeah, maybe he's got one out and gone, well, I've got to give another half an eye. It's almost that card crazy to a degree. Again, there hasn't been those kind of fouls. I mean, it's hard pressed. Again, I'm sure that happened a little bit earlier where someone caught him Bemba in a very similar tackle, and that wasn't the yellow card. So you're probably looking, oh, well, I don't think that's a yellow card. But again, they're probably happy to have a bit of a time waste as well, aren't they, where Lille are forced to go back. But you are right, I just don't think Lille have done enough in this first. Like, and even in the last 5-10 minutes when they're pushing forward, they haven't done enough. What the best chance you'd have to say was Fernandez's outside the area. There was a good ball put in by Parada as well. But apart from that, they've not done enough against Villa this evening.
No, they haven't. Bensley looking to change that later on though. Ball forward, headed up in the air. Matson gets a more substantial clearance on it. He then picks up the loose header from Mbemba. Good pace from him, but he can't quite keep hold of it. Meunier sweeps in to win the ball back. We're halfway through the additional time added on by the referee though. Villa still with just this 1-goal lead intact. It's now Bentaleb spreading the play forward. Headed though by Bagade. Up in the air by Elliott. Amadou can now maybe find the pass towards Matson. Lille have got to be careful they don't go 2-0 down in these final stages. Villa are going to look to do that now though. Ball forward and Bailey picks it up on this right channel. This is exactly the area of the pitch where Aston Villa want it to be. Bailey taking his man and he's still going up towards the edge of the area. Might have done too much before he finds Matson. Now towards Elliott and then Bagard. McGinn turns on it inside the final 30 yards of the goal. 1-2 pass from Onana. Great ball from McGinn as well to find Digne over on the left. Digne taking it inside now towards Onana. Plays in Matson. One-touch football as Villa now look to wind down the clock in northern France. Onana just sort of dancing around with it really and making a mockery of the Lille pressers. The furthest one forward of which is Fernandez. Concert, McGinn inside. Heavy touch from Elliott though as the ball was blasted at him. He's giving it away to Dayune. Making inroads down the left wing again. Elliott's done well to recover it, but he has given away a throw-in. Can Lille get one last chance? Baude with the turn. He's up towards the edge of the box. Plays in Fernandez. He's had it coming together there with Conser. Referee not convinced at all. He waves it away. Do Lille have a late shout for a penalty?
I'm not too sure. What I will say, I think it's clumsy from Conser at the pure minimum. Watched it back. I don't think it's a penalty. I think it's too soft. I think if anything as well, I think he does go into the back of Conser. But just how Conser reacts is clumsy. I don't think, and as well, what you would always say is because the referee said it's not a penalty, there is nowhere near enough evidence to overturn it as well.
Yeah, it was definitely not a clear and obvious error, and I don't think it was a foul as well. I think, if anything, it was the Lille man who'd made the foul, but still, Concert putting his manager through a little bit of stress at the end here. Now as Harvey Elliott has the ball up the other end, he does the smart thing and turns back towards Onana, just about to pass over the 5-minute mark. Will Elliott venture forward? In fact, no, he will go back towards Concert. The referee puts the whistle to his mouth and blows for full time in the end. Aston Villa will take a lead back to Birmingham. Not the greatest of matches by any stretch of the imagination, but in northern France it's finished Lille 0, Aston Villa 1.
Thanks to a second half goal from Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa have won in the first leg away from home against Lille, winning 1-0. It was a very tense fixture this evening in France. Neither team really wanting to make a mistake in this first leg, but there's a long ball forward by Konza, nodded on by Buendia, and a looping header from Watkins. His first goal in the Europa League this season, and his first goal in 8 games as well, means the Unai Emery side will take a 1-0 lead into the second leg. Thanks to a second half strike from Ollie Watkins, Aston Villa have beaten Lille 1-0 away from home in the first leg of the round of 16 in the knockout stages of the Europa League. Meaning that Unai Emery's men will have that 1-0 advantage on aggregate going into next week's second leg at Villa Park. I'm sure the Spaniard will be over the moon with his side's performance. The first half very, very tense from both sides. Neither side really giving an edge at all, it has to be said. Neither wanting to make a mistake, I think more importantly, between the two sides. In the first half there was only one shot on target between them. That was a long-ranging effort outside the penalty area from Lille. Emi Martinez spilled it, but that's the most danger either side really got into. And as a whole, there was only one shot on target from Villa. That was Watkins' headed effort that found the back of the net. It was a long ball forward just after the hour mark from Ezri Konza. Buendia won out in the air against former Newcastle man Chancel Mbemba. He nodded it on to Watkins, and Watkins got underneath it in all the best way. He caught the goalkeeper in no man's land and he just looped it over the keeper. It was a great goal. The ball didn't even touch the floor from it being booted forward by Ezri Konza. Good old school, old route one, if you will, but it was rather impressive. And for the rest of the second half, it was very easy. The best chance for Lille, well, for the substitute who came on, Fernandez, who just outside the area, a curling effort which was saved, and you'd expect Emi Martinez to save it. But that Lille didn't really do enough in this first leg, and Aston Villa professionally, after they scored their goal for the last half an hour or so, just saw the game out, and Unai Emery will be over the moon, as I say, with all the lead that they have going into the second leg. 1-0 is only that one goal, of course, but now just go do the job at home next week and we'll be in to the quarter-finals. Emery, of course, a Europa League special.